Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs, and our subjects. Today is 2024 on the ancient civic calendar. It's December the 15th. It's 2025 on the ancient sun calendar, 10,066 on the ancient Yoruba calendar. And as always, millions and trillions and trillions and millions of years on our original ancient Moorish calendar, which is technically outside of time, Islam. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity and in alignment and according to the ancient Noahide laws as stated by this holy Congress. This is a sovereign living ancient Article 3, Moorish American Al-Moroccan Universal Court action. We are the divine sovereign living justices and ego sum Pauline Denise Ritchie. My free chosen sovereign appellation is like tajiri Bay. All are in capitis diminution nolo in red ink, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. We are capite et corpus juris legalis, which is our statement that we are the lawful and legal, natural living head and body for our empire. All Moors are the divine, original, indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites, Canaanites, Shemites, Israelites, Cushites, and Hittites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our honor, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original indigenous, sovereign, ancient empire state for Morocco. We are the Moroccan Empire. We're the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We are ancient Washington District for Columbia. We're the Universal Moorish American Consulate and the Earthwide Article 3 Moorish American Consular Court. Today we are the law, and we are the original indigenous, natural divine, sovereign, ancient Article 3 living creditor United States District for Columbia Court. We are the sovereign fiduciaries, original creditors, executors, trustees, trustors, divine ministers, possessors, grantors, grantors, and title trustors for all causes for action. We are peace. We are one nation, one state, one empire, and one God. We hereby recognize ourselves and accept our sovereign divine ascension. We do possess in our custody all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. We, the true living God nation, are not at war, and we demonstrate all eternal, ancient, original sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, nunc pro tunc. So first, we will to state happy, 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 glorious, prosperous, well-filled full moon day today. Today is the full moon, and for that we are extremely grateful. We have been feeling the energy, the rise in the energy leading up to this full moon for quite a while now. This is also the time of the Geminid and Ursid meteor showers of blessings. Geminid and Ursid meteor showers are markers that make it very clear that the windows of heaven are open for us, to us, by us, in us, because of us. We have opened the windows of heaven for ourselves because the windows belong to us. And so the new life moon, which is the name of this moon, some were calling it the cold moon, the frost moon, the winter moon, those names. We call it the new life moon as well, because it is in honor of winter solstice that marks the rising of the sun for longer hours in the day. So on December 21st, it begins the rising of the moon, the going down and then the rising of the moon, of the sun rather, for longer hours of the day. And for that, we're grateful. So if you have any demonstrations that you will to do, now is a great time to think on them, to craft them, and to get them sent out. This coming week and this past week, perfect time to send your word. And your word will accomplish all that you have sent it out to do. It will not return unto you void. Islam, to you original, indigenous, ancient peoples. Islam. And just for the record, we state Islam not as a modern religious term. So this is for those who proclaim Christianity. We know that you are listening because you are our brothers and sisters as well. I have kin and clan members who proclaim Christianity. Islam is not in competition with your Christianity. Islam is the law. And spiritual beliefs and spiritual systems are not in competition with the law. They work together. So we welcome you, we honor you, and we are grateful that you are here with us, Islam. Just so that everyone is aware, we stated 5, 6, 7 years ago that U.S.fiat was not legal or lawful. Not legal or lawful. And then we set about to manifest that so that everyone else could see, because we could see it, this Congress could see it. But Babylon couldn't see it. Others could not see it. And so we set about to manifest so that our word was the word that everyone speaks. Everyone's saying the same thing. Everyone. So now that has manifested, and wouldn't you know, we're prepared. We're prepared for that. And for that, we're grateful. I'm so grateful that this Congress knew ahead of time to prepare for where we are right now. So I went on to YouTube and just put in fiat is dead, u.s.fiat is dead, and just looked to see what would appear. So I pulled some of what would appear there. And of course, they are trying to point you to the crypt being things that don't exist. Because things that are virtual that do not have anything that you can touch out here where we are on the land is virtual. It doesn't even exist. One delete button and that stuff is gone, if it ever existed in the first place. So now our word has manifested, Moors. Congratulations on manifesting together. We did that. We can just go ahead and take credit for that. It's not a bad thing to take credit for the work that you've done. So I pulled up a few, just a few. There were thousands of videos and things out there. Thousands that were out there, thousands. But I did not wish to be frivolous with the Congress's time by continuing to show all of that. So I just picked a few so that everyone knows that we were not playing when we did that. We meant business. We meant mercantilism. We meant truth when we stated what we stated. So, are there any questions, comments, wisdom with regard to that? Because again, we put it out there on the record. It's already out there. We just willed that everyone else see that, because they wouldn't see it if we didn't say it. Are there any questions, comments, wisdom regarding the enacted death of fiat, because it never really was a real thing? So now, for those who may not, Islam.
It's in areas of no whole taxation, Arizona territory. I keep hearing that they're trying to back Bitcoin or digital money by gold. I keep seeing it everywhere.
So they will that we do that. That's a suggestion, because if they could do it, they would have done it by now. And that's why they make Bitcoin look like a gold coin, because they will to give it validity, but it cannot do any of that unless we say that it is. And right now we've placed a lien on it already. We already did all of that. Whether to validate that or not is before we do all of that, we first will that everyone know that fiat was dead, that U.S.fiat was dead. Okay, so we're taking it a step at a time. At any given moment, if we choose to, if this Congress chooses to, we can go ahead and say that, okay, Bitcoin, according to our statement of it, is valid. We could say that, and when the time comes, we will make that statement. If this Congress agrees to it. If the Congress doesn't agree, then it's not going to happen. So what they're doing is throwing the suggestions out there, because that's their job, is to make suggestions. They can't make law. They cannot create any laws. They can't create money. None of that. Because see, even and we'll just prove that really quickly. When the enactment of Bitcoin first came out in 2009, somewhere around there, 2008, 2009, when they were enacting that. It was enacted and it gained momentum. Okay, Justice Travis, you'll probably need to go ahead and sign out and sign back in. Is anyone else having any issues hearing what we're stating? Can everyone hear okay?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, so Justice Travis, that will be yours. So when they first enacted Bitcoin back in 2008, 2009 timeframe, they were saying that it's this brand new thing that's going to take over everything because it's outside of government reach. That was the draw in the energy. That was the draw in the energy to gain interest of the people, to gain the people's interest, is they were saying it was outside. There is nothing outside of our reach. We're the government. There's nothing outside of our reach. There's nothing we cannot touch. There's nothing we do not create. So even when we heard that, we knew then that, okay, well, that's a sales tactic, and let the sales tactic be what it is. And at the appointed time, we'll put a lien on whatever it is, and then they'll start seeing government come in and regulate it, which is what has happened. And for those who will to see the actual court action where we put the lien on that, go back through our court actions. It's about 3 or 4 years ago that we did that court action. It's on YouTube at Like Tajiri Bay channel. And we show the documentation. We put the lien on that and the blockchain and all agents, principals, heirs, assigns, and any derivatives thereof. And as you can see now, the hold is on that, just as it is on everything else. So because this Congress has to state whether that's going to work or not. Whether it's even going to exist, we must do that. We must state that. So, and we have time. We're not in any super duper rush because we have time to do all of that. We did will to get the work done quickly in terms of when we first did the court action, and I think at the same time, if we go back to that court action, I believe that PayPal and some of the other Facebook and some of the other suggestions were on that same link and court action. So now, what does that look? Where are we with all of that now? Is this all of the things out there? And please hear me with your eyes. All of the things out there, anything out there that has a price tag on it. The price tag is essentially a suggestion. It's not the real thing. It's not real. It's a suggestion as to what we will and agree to do the exchange for. Now, again, we are not buying our own stuff back. That's not really what's happening. What's happening is we are being competent heirs to keep track of everything that has to do with this vast state. We don't do things just hairy-carry and just without order. Just grab, smash and grab. We don't do that. What we do is, as competent heirs, we keep track of everything. When they say that God knows the number of hairs you have on your head and the number of grains of sand in the ocean, that's true. And we're going to show you briefly today how we have begun to implement that very precept and law in our own merchant spaces, our merchant things that we do. Our estate is so vast, and the only ones who actually can keep track of an infinite estate is an infinite people. So with that being stated, anyone, you don't have to believe me about what's happening here. Because generally people who don't believe people that look like them, you have to point them to where they do believe. It's the law. So And that's not an ego statement about us, although we're very proud of what we've done. That's not an ego statement. That's not bragging. Those are the facts. So we state that from a factual place. So with that being stated, I thought that just briefly, this photo, I didn't get to look at the little short video. It was like about a 30-second video of them. Apparently they were shredding fiat or whatever themselves or whatever. I don't know exactly what they were doing. They had to see us do it first. So we had the fiat burning ceremony about 2 or 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. We did record it. It is on Light Tajiri Bay channel, and it will say fiat burning ceremony. So now, the burning of fiat is not what some would think it is. It's a spiritual testament of our dominion over fiat. It is a spiritual statement of dominion, and that's why we did that. Dominion is this. I'll use hunting as an example of dominion. Where dominion is concerned, dominion by definition is having the power of life and death in our hands and in our mouths. That's what dominion is. So in order to break the spell of fiat and to make the statement not just out of our mouth, but by what we do, we had the fiat burning. This Congress had the fiat burning ceremony. This Congress was present. We did it on camera. We did it so everyone could see, and we did it what they call live or live, to present the energy of dominion over fiat and anything else. Hunters, people who go out and hunt and shoot game, it's because they feel they have dominion over the land and the animals, and they can take the life and give the life. And no one really argues with them about that. So we really don't expect to hear argument about our dominion either over all things and persons. So we know the difference between persons and people. That's a study to do. And that's why we specifically use those words. So with that being stated, as we move forward in what we're doing, price tags on things will be suggested values, suggested dollar values. And we will use Morris Savandalarium, we'll use gold and silver, we'll use commodities to manifest those prices and things, okay? Because fiat is not, that's not what that's for. It's not to put fiat in place of real money. So we will to show how we have done that with our mercantilism. As you all are aware, and this will assist those who do business as well, who do commerce as well, and mercantilism as well. We will to be the example of how to do that, and there are some who are already doing it. We have salty ocean minerals, cellular nano healing technology, and we spell in an ancient manner. So those are not typographical errors. Those are proper types and typing. Our products are supported by the government for the United States. China is a study example for this structure of mercantilism. Merchants go directly to the source of the commodity with no middleman involved. That's the difference between mercantilism, commerce, and business. So we're keeping account, and this thought just when the ancestors showed me what we were really doing with this process. We are literally keeping track of each grain of sea salt that we harvest from the ocean by way of weights and measures. So for each vessel of sea salt that we pull, that we harvest from the ocean, because we do that by our own sovereign hand, we weigh it, and then we give it a price for that day. For example, 1 ounce of sea salt, of these salty sea minerals, because it is exactly what we already have in our bodies, that causes the price to go up. However, again, we're not a fiat system, so we don't accept fiat for this. On this vessel that you see here was harvested on the 15th, not the 15th, the 12th of December. So it was about 3 days ago. It was harvested, and then we processed it in, and then put it in containers, vessels rather, for tribution, to tribute. So on that day, the natural resource of salty sea minerals, because it's a natural resource. Do you know how rare from the previous era a truly natural resource is, or was rather? Something truly natural. That means pulled from the earth by the natural people, and not with chemicals and things added to it, but in its purest format, put into a bottle or a vessel and tributed to the natural people. That was not, it didn't even exist in the enactment from the previous era. The previous era, pre-COVID, that's the previous era. So on that day, salty sea minerals and the weight per ounce was set by the market at 99 dollarium, or dollars, or $99 in gold and silver per ounce, which is very low. That's a very low price. But the ancestors are having us to start here and then continue rising. So let me state that when you see the actors out there enacting something called inflation, all they're doing is listening to what we're stating about prices and pricing and where we're going to go with that. And so that by the time we get ready to, and we're already there, Now that we're at this place where the price is a suggestion, they're going to try and suggest it at what we are accustomed to and what we state. So that's why you see prices going up, appearing to go up. For those who are producing products, there has to be a justification for the pricing. Now, the most important justification for us is that whatever it is that we are tributing, the people already have it. I know that sounds backwards, but let me tell you how that works. Every element, every mineral that is in sea salt, our sea minerals, for example, is already in our bodies in various amounts. Just like gold and silver is already in our bodies in various amounts. Already. On a monoatomic level. So when you have a product, a creation that we already have, that means that it's going to enhance what we already have. We're going to show you why that's important right now, because again, as we move forward in what we're doing, this is why everything has to be restated according to our will. We don't accept things the way that they were in the previous era without restating them. It must be restated so that it is specific or species specific. That's kind of like a double positive. It's species specific so that it heals and adds to the natural people. So where the sea salt is concerned, you can see some cards there. We'll explain those gold cards and the gold taggings that come with it very shortly. This is going to be very quick. The zodiac and the salts of salvation. And we'll just read this really quickly. It says, showing the chemical correspondence of the mineral salt, caliphos. Caliphos is a type of salt. It is actually phosphate of potassium. So it's a type of salt, but it's a natural type. It says, showing the chemical correspondence of the salt to the highest part of the head, the cerebrum, which is where phosphate of potassium does the majority of its work in our bodies. That alone elevates the natural people to the heights where honor and gratitude should forever be accorded them. For this salt is the dynamic material which generates spiritual electricity and ensouls the physical body with life. And this is only one of the 12 astounding allocations for the salt. For astrology, that synthesizer of all knowledge, astrology is called the synthesizer for all knowledge. In other words, it synthesizes and brings everything together, both cosmic and microcosmic, in the universe and in man. The astrology reveals to us why Caliphos is the Aries salt. This substance through which the Most High manifests in man is the cause of actual life in his holy temple, the body. And to the degree in which the cerebrospinal nerves are supplied with the salt, will energy or life and life, so will energy is life for us. Life manifests in and through him. The light of intelligence, spirit or mother, will burn brightly if this substance, which alone can feed it, is sufficiently and adequately furnished. So when we have the right salts, which is just minerals, that's all it is. It's minerals that taste like salt. When we have the right amount in our bodies, then will energy is made manifest. And I can assure you that that is a truth. That is a truth. Our will, my will, has grown in its manifestation because of the cleaning of the cells. That's really what it is, the cleaning of the cells, okay? The cleaning of our cells is so important because in the previous era, there were so many things that bombarded and fought with our cells. The food, the things that we drank, the artificial things were at war with our cells, whereas natural salty minerals are at peace with our cells because it's made of the same things, and it assists in scrubbing the cells. So it says, therefore, a perfect supply of the right chemical elements means perfect cells, a perfect brain, perfect thought, perfect actions, perfection, a God-man. Now, this writing came from the book, The Salts of Salvation. Of course, we restated the book. It says, by tributing these statements, we bespeak our deep and lasting gratitude to the original ancient people for the chemical light that they have shined into all dark places. And then it says, reader, whoever's reading the book, truth is the water of life. May you drink deeply and begin to learn how to live forever. And see, a lot of people don't know this, but we do have the authority to live forever. The Bible people know about that. In James, the 1st chapter, verse 4, it says, and let patience have its perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire and lack nothing. The reason people overeat is because they are lacking the things that these minerals in their bodies and these elements in their bodies. So the gold, so as you're doing your commerce that is supported by the government, this government supports the mercantilism. What we do in numbering the grains of sand and sea salt and whatever else you bring from the earth, we give each tribution, each vessel of sea salt, of salty sea minerals, each vessel has a serial number. It has a date, and the date we generally put in Roman numerals. And it has the number of ounces of sand, of sea salt. It looks like sand sometimes, but it's sea salt, depending on the mix of minerals in it. Sometimes it looks like snow, sometimes it looks like sand. So, and then it has a price per ounce. So for the salt, the sea salt, the salty minerals that were produced on the 12th for shipment on the 15th, which is today, it was $99 per ounce for that shipment that day, based on these facts. Okay, based on these facts. So as you're doing your commerce, and listen, those that are doing commerce according to documents and things like that, you have the same statements that you can make about your documentation. We don't sell nationality. We don't sell it. Not even for gold and silver. We don't sell nationality, because Moors can produce their own nationality documentation, and they should, because it is the beginning of creating in a self-governing manner. So where self-government is concerned, we assign a market value based on the fact that these things that we're producing will heal and assist in the healing for our nation, because it is specific. It is of like species for us. And this is from page, I believe it was page 12 of the book, The Zodiac and the Salts of Salvation. And you can Google that book. It's a free PDF online. So we do, and then Moors, listen to me. Oh, wow. It occurred to me yet again why our signature is so important. Our signature is so important and so valuable because all that we produce are considered by the rest of the earth to be signature products, signature creations. That means my signature is on each and every grain of salt that we produce. So when we certify and authenticate that, yes, we created this and we produced this, we then put our signature on the certification or the authentication. And of course, we spell in ancient English, so there are no misspellings on the documentation. Ancient Matriarch Salty Ocean Minerals is a government-supported product. Government-supported means that the government simply put up the resources for it to begin production. That just means we use our own sources to begin producing. And then each grain of salt has that we produce has a serial number assigned to it. In other words, 1 ounce, 2 ounces, 3 ounces, 10 ounces, no matter what it is, it has a serial number, a unique serial number, because it is a commodity. It's a natural resource. And so it's as valuable as we and our market proclaims it to be based on the demand. And that's why I say $99 per ounce is super low, because the demand is so high. The demand for what we produce is super high because of its medicinal qualities. Every intravenous drip, they call them IVs, where when you go into the hospital, and they, in the past, you would go and they would put something in your arm and have it drip in there constantly. Every one of those has sea salt in it. Well, it was supposed to have sea salt, natural salts in it, not lab-created salts, not salts that have chemicals that cause it to not clump when it gets moist. We don't put that in our sea salt, in our salty sea minerals, because it was minerals that were needed to sustain the body anyway. That was the premise of an IV, is, hey, get the minerals in them. That's the first thing they do to anyone who goes into a quote-unquote hospital, is they first say, get the minerals in them. That was the point. And what did they use? Saline solution, salt solution. So the demand is there. And then we're coming out of a time where ourselves, it's a good idea to scrub ourselves with sea salt, with salty sea minerals. It's a good idea to do that. We're seeing that that the spirit, we can hear the spirit, of course, at all times. With the cleaner our cells are, it's the clearer we can see and hear, because the spirit works that way. And we're not stating that we can't hear otherwise, because obviously we could, or we wouldn't be awake. So that is the justification. And in reality, with that being the justification, it really should be at $2,700 per ounce for salty sea minerals. It should be, because it's better for us than gold. In the ancient Roman times, they used sea salt as pay, as their salary. Salt is the root word for salary. That is where the word salary came from. So this is how our government is supporting the business that we do, or the commerce or the mercantilism that we do with natural resources and commodities. And natural resources are commodities. Are there any questions about that? Do not be surprised at the height, at how quote unquote high the prices will appear, because guess what? You can afford it. You have more sovereign delarium. You've been granted that. That's according to bloodline and birthright. Physician, heal yourself with products that you can afford.
Hello.
Islam. Justice Willie, and then then Empress Shasha.
No, ladies before Justice, and I for her.
Islam. Empress Shasha.
Yes. Islam. So the salt, is it Kali? How's it spelled, please? Is it Kali Phos? Is that what you're saying? Kali Phos?
Yes. It's Kali space PHOS, like phosphate.
Like phos. Okay, so Kali Phos. So I'm here on the other end on the phone, and I'm hearing. First of all, I'm hearing Caliph.
Yes.
As in ruler.
Yes.
And the whole brain, the head, that's the ruler. That's the whole thing. So I'm here, and I'm hearing that, and just seeing that the cleansing of the pineal gland, and that opens for everything, and how powerful just the name of the mineral. And then as you spell Kali, who is Kali? She's the goddess who cleans house. So I'm sitting here, and I'm hearing the spiritual piece of this. There are, everything that we do when we are everything is happening on multiple levels. Yes. And just what I'm hearing is enforcing and enhancing the power of your statement and the product, and so it's just it's delightful. It's the power of the energy right now. So I just wanted to, because I can't see, so I'm hearing it, and I'm in my hearing. I'm seeing a spelling and a sound and a word, which makes total sense, and it's really the same thing. They're all Caliph, Kali, Phos, all of it is all the same thing, and it's very powerful. And what's interesting about salt, the salt mineral, as we know in the past era, the whole thing about not using salt.
Yes, that's how we know it
now.
Yeah,
good for us, exactly. Yeah. And in truth, the table salt that was put in the stores was waste, and that was of no use to anyone. But it was also, giving that message of stay away from salt, when salt is such a vital mineral for the being, for the body, for not just the body, for the mind, for everything. And if you think about the sea, what is it? Salt water. If we cry tears, if we sweat, it's salt.
Yeah.
So, it is and as you stated, it's salary, it's the root of salary, and value. The value is just immense. So anyway, that's what I wanted to state based upon that. There was something else, but it has slipped my mind, so I'll leave it till it comes back. I yield.
Empress, may I state that
Yes.
You're a great example of the fact that we can hear, we can see with our ears.
That is absolutely, and you just brought me somewhere. I was doing something when I'm doing things with my hands, which I'm always doing things, but all sorts of thoughts and words and sounds are running through my brain. And what I was looking at or listening to was here, the word here.
Yes.
So if you look in the word here, within the word here is ear.
Yes.
And so I went off on a little, journey with all of that, because all of the words, if you really start looking at the words that contain ear,
Yeah.
everything draws you back to sound.
Yeah. Yes. Or sanity.
And sanity, which again is sound.
Sanity
because
sound.
Everything is heard. Again, in the middle of heard is air, her,
Yes.
but everything is sound.
And it's either heard or the other herd, like sheep. A herd.
Well, and that one you are correct, because in the middle of the pandemic, was that not the goal? Was to get herd, what was it? Herd immunity and herd.
Yes.
I never even, it's interesting because I never even, in my statement, I never heard that one, but that was actually correct right in the middle of it, because in the enactment, the imposters, and with what they had done in that former era, was to attempt to turn everyone into animals, and in particular cattle.
Yeah.
That are moved in herds.
Yeah.
And which is really just another play on the word. I mean, turn it upside down, switch your brain, have your clarity, and it could never be that.
Yeah.
But it's it's just a wonderful place to be in. We are the sound, we hear the sound, we're made up of sound.
Within. It's coming from within.
And that's exactly, that is the absolute truth. It is coming from within. It can't come from anywhere else.
Right. Yeah.
And when we look for it from anywhere else, or try to strain to hear from the outside, we are going to get into trouble of some sort. and that's absolutely the truth. So you are absolutely correct. I used to, this was years ago now, and I didn't have this memory, but I can remember, really coming to the realization, memory, recollection, that I literally can breathe through my skin.
Yes. Yes.
So all of these senses that we have, when they are
interchangeable
now. Thank you. They're interchangeable. They're actually boundless.
Yes.
And when we are in that state of grace or equilibrium, balance, just ease and love, there's no distinction between them, because combined they are the caliph.
Yes. Empress, it's interesting that you would make that statement, because I experienced that yet again this weekend in a profound way. I experience it all the time. It's part of who I am. But I was at a gathering, and I could look at people. Individuals, and hear what's going on in their spirit. Or hear, like if they were looking at something or someone, I could literally hear what they're thinking about whatever it is they're looking at. And some people can do that. Some people can do that, like with their if they've been with their spouse long enough, they can look at their spouse, and if the spouse has a specific look on their face when they look at someone, they already know what their spouse is thinking, and they'll both bust out laughing at the same time because they know. It's like that.
Yeah.
It's like
I've goosebumps from your what you stated, your experience, because that space is well, that's why you even stated it. That's what that connection, that.
And then we were having conversation in a group. And I could hear them speaking. I heard every word very clearly, but I could also hear their spirit speaking also and saying other things. And both were clear, very clear. In other words, and I'll give you an example of that everyone has probably experienced, where someone is telling you that they're fine, but you can hear and know that they're not.
Yeah.
And their spirit is saying, no, I'm not fine. But their mouth is saying, I'm fine.
I'm fine.
But you can hear in the spirit. And you can hear their energy.
Yeah.
And so that's when you pull them to the side and you say, okay, I heard you say you're fine, but I also heard your spirit say that you probably want to talk about something. What am I missing? Did I misinterpret that? And you know you didn't misinterpret it.
Right.
Yeah.
And spirit told you heard their spirit because you were whom they needed at that time.
And that actually goes both ways. I've had many interactions like that, and I ended up getting some energy from that interaction that I didn't even know was not there. It's a beautiful exchange of energy. When you think you're helping somebody and they help you too, and they don't even realize that they're helping you. Or encourage you.
That's true. That's true exchange. That's true, pure exchange. And that's proof of there are no accidents. There are no, we meet in different ways for different reasons.
Yeah. That just also means that our eyes can hear, because we can look at them and something says in the spirit realm, they're saying they're fine, but that's not even, it's not even that they're lying about being fine. On the outside, on the exterior, on the shallow end, they are fine, because they haven't fallen on the ground and started convulsing. They're fine.
They are, and they haven't even had the time to even get to where spirit is, and spirit is reaching out for them. It's their spirit, of course, but that is, I know, I can relate to that in some ways. I used to be, well, not used to, I still am, but I would get messages sometimes. I can see and hear things, just like you're saying, you're stating, and sometimes I would just get the message from spirit to let whoever know that I can see or hear, or I might have seen or heard something, and I would go ahead and relay the message. But I would get I call it a hit. And out of the blue, it might not be somebody I even know, And but so yeah, it's a very powerful gift, and we all have the ability.
Yeah,
we
and
all
sometimes
have the ability.
people can be talking on the phone, and you can see that they're not okay, or see that they are okay. Like you can hear their voice, and you see,
yes.
and I'll even say it sometimes. Oh, I can see you had a great day. What's going on? What did I miss in your day? Because I can see it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. You can actually feel the energy. You can feel the effervescence. You can see the sunlight. It's you are
And see,
but you have in order to
do that. With the cleaner our cells are, we can do that.
We listen. We were speaking at the same. I was just going to say you have in order to really be open to that, we must be cleaner in all, whatever we bring in, whatever we hear, we eat, we sense, it must be of enhancement to the body, to the cells, to the mind, so that we can be in that place and space.
I'll say this about the food part, and because you brought up the food, about what's like what we. I guess I'm doing the lab work on this. And now the lab work for me on the food piece is I already know I can eat whatever I will to eat. It doesn't even matter what it is. I can eat whatever I will to eat. And because I'm continuously cleaning myself, I'm still able to see, but I'm also able to be among people who may not think the way that we think, or who may not see things the way that we see things.
Right.
That has been my research, because it was not my will to completely separate myself from my kin, my clan, friends, relatives, whomever, because we have to win them. We have to win them.
Yes.
And so in order to win them, I will not to go around them and not be able to at least eat what they eat, so that we can have a connection somewhere along the way, something to connect around. Because most of us connect around food with our kin. Most of us do. Where even if you're, you all might not be getting along the best, but when mom says, "Come on, everybody, let's eat," everybody's coming to eat. Or whatever. That's the open door for us to be able to drop just a few seeds. We don't have to put the whole thing out there. Just drop a few seeds and they'll get it. They will get it. I'm telling you, they'll get it. They'll get it. Because everyone, I don't care who they are, I don't care how many churches they go to through the week, they're getting it. They're getting the wake up piece. I'm experiencing that with those around me who, they're getting it.
We're resisting. It's happening, yeah.
Because now even the churches are telling them that the fiat is dead. I had someone tell me that yesterday.
Really?
Yes, someone who's not. They don't declare Moorish nationality yet or anything like that. They claim Christianity, which we love Christians. It's all good, because the right kind of Christianity and the right kind of law or Islamic Muslim work together. They don't fight against each other. They work together if it's the right kind.
Has to be the right nature.
Yeah. Amen
to that. Amen to that.
Listen, Justice Willie, just as loud as he can be. If that is correct, that's correct.
And he's probably also reminding that he had Islam to make some statement. I think he also had probably.
That's
remember
right.
we had
Well, yes.
yeah. So I think that's probably
That's
such a
our
way.
cue.
Yeah.
Islam, Justice Willie.
Islam.
I had allowed her to go, but I want to rewind the program and then go before her. She took too long.
That's Justice Willie.
Is it possible?
Pushing someone out of the chair. Justice Willie, never. I yield, Justice Willie.
Thank you very much. No, I forget all that I wanted to say.
Justice Willie, I'm competition now. No one can be competition for you, Justice Willie. I yield.
Anyway, I'm just saying, it's good to see that you are creating an economy where we can have the dollarium being put to use.
Yes.
Circulation among ourselves. I think I see that. Am I right or am I right?
You are always right with that one. Right there, that's right.
So we need to just step up the program some more in terms of and I use that word loosely. But we need to step up and have more products that we can circulate among ourselves and accept the dollarium among ourselves. I think that is a wonderful way to go, so that if we're boycotting the establishment or the fiat kingdom, so to speak, our economy, we can barter, we have a medium of exchange to do things among ourselves. So before you know it, we can maybe create a website where we can use the dollarium to buy stuff from each other and things like that. So I think it's a fantastic move.
Yeah, Islam. Listen, if it was going to happen, all we had to do is look at the persons that enacted creating Bitcoin. They just created something. They just not created. They made something, and then they said, okay, it has value among us, and then we're going to publish that it's worth $20,000 a coin, then $100,000 a coin, and just get everybody to buy in on that. Come on.
Yep.
Let's.
You know, when you mentioned are you aware of a story where, as you talk about the Bitcoin, there's a guy who had 10,000 Bitcoin when it just came out, and it was about a couple cents. And the guy said he made an announcement on social media that he has 10,000 Bitcoin, and anybody who is willing to give him 2 pizza for it, they can get the 10,000 Bitcoin. And there's this pizza guy. He actually took the 10,000 Bitcoin and gave the guy 2 pizza. Now you can imagine, multiply 10,000 times 100,000 and tell me how rotten rich that guy would have been today had he held on to his Bitcoin.
And see, the point of that is that most people who, first of all, none of us have Bitcoin. I'm just going to say that. None of us have it because it's really virtual. It's not real. Even if you think you have it, you don't have it because you can't hold it in your hand. But the point being that that's the man that gave the pizza was the one who got the raw deal. He gave away 2 free pieces of pizza for something that's in the ethers somewhere. Because you can't today. If I had quote unquote Bitcoin, I couldn't go down the street and get anything for it. I can't.
I beg to differ, though. And I'm thinking that you probably are not understanding the Bitcoin then, because I've been in Bitcoin since it was like 250, but I've never go all in. I've been just toying with it from a couple of years now when it was $250. And I'm really sorry I didn't go in, because what happens is if you are smart, you have those Bitcoins and you see the price goes up, what you can do is convert it to, you cash out some of it, and you can buy back in when the price dips, and then you use that money, or whatever you want to call it, to get fiat. Fiat can give you land, fiat can give you house, fiat can give you just about anything. Why are you saying no? It is a reality, because I use some of the Bitcoin to help to fix up my house and all of that, because I sold when there was a profit, and just Bitcoin, a few of the other currencies. So I would not totally cast it aside. I would get to understand it more. There's right now this guy that I know, Christopher Green. You can look him up, AM Television. That guy became a multi-millionaire, and he put it to use by buying cash, real estate. So now he has a real estate empire that he's encouraging people to, like, you can get $30,000 and buy into his the real estate empire that he has, so you can own a piece of his real estate. You can go on vacation, and you can, just go enjoy what he has bought for you and things like that. So I wouldn't throw it out altogether.
So, Justice, I hear what you're saying in that. I hear what you're saying about that. I hear what you're saying. I want you to know that I can hear you. However, if the people who are saying, because see, this is a warning, you're saying that you can convert it back to fiat and get things. That's what you're saying. Is that correct?
100%, yes.
Okay. If the people who created Bitcoin created it or made it because they didn't trust the fiat system, what they're really, and I'll just translate this for you, what they're really saying is you're not going to be able to do that. And you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to create, to buy Bitcoin with fiat and then turn it back into fiat and buy things again. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. That's what they're telling you. The people who created it, Max Kaiser, Roger Ver, Michael Saylor, you know those names. If you're into Bitcoin, you know exactly
what they are. I know those, yes.
They're telling you, they are telling you that the fiat piece, that conversion, it's right there on the screen. All you have to do is pull it up and Google it. So that was great when in that enactment, when it was able to be done, but they're telling you out of their own mouths it's over. And that's all we're doing, Justice Willie. We're not damning anyone to hell. What we are saying, though, is we see what's already here because we provoked it and invoked it. And all we're saying is get ready, because you're not going to be able to do that. And here's the thing. Any real estate that was purchased with either one of those, fiat or Bitcoin, because they're both fiction, that means that the purchase was fiction, false, fiction.
Islam to that.
And at any time, because it's already done, really, it's already done. That's why when they do what they do, they never tell you they'll give you the title to it, because they already know they don't have a title. That's what makes it false. That's what makes it false. It's fake. Now, anyone who wills to keep pursuing that, we can't stop you. And it's not that we can't, we just won't, because that's what you will do. We won't stop you. We've already stopped the parts that is necessary to stop, so that the people are not defrauded. But
okay, so
wait a minute. Let me just say this really quickly, Justice Willie. If you lose if your computer and your cell phone get flooded, what do you have in your hand to help you if you only relied on Bitcoin? What do you have in your hand to prove anything? Exactly. That's my point.
Belong to that.
All right. So, okay, let me respond. I love your logic. Logically, I see what you're saying, right? In terms of migrating back to gold and silver, then you have a point. But I'm saying, the smart people though would have the smart people would not have just bought. They would have bought some silver and gold coins, right? And then now, so if you bought your silver and gold coins or you bought property, you can use your trust to buy the property using gold and silver. So any way you take it, if you're smart, you can make it work for you. That's all I'm saying. You can make it work for you because it says the Constitution says nothing but silver and gold coins is real money. So you can use the fiat can give you gold and silver coins. I have gold. I don't have no silver, but I have gold. And what did I use to buy? Fiat.
Okay.
Don't tell me you can't get fiat. Use fiat to buy gold, or it's fake.
Hold on for
it's not. It's real gold.
Let me respond to that. Even the gold that you bought is less real than the gold that's in our bodies. That's why the signature is worth more than gold. So let's go back to the basics again. All of these things that you can pass around, that's not created by you. You don't control them. You're not going to get rich off of them. You are not going to get rich off of fraudulent fictions. I'm just telling you, you're not. Why? Because it's fiction. It doesn't exist. It's fraud. It doesn't exist. Now, you can say that it exists as long as you will to say that. You can. And you can do whatever you will to do that's going to make you feel like your estate is growing. But at the beginning and end of the day, if you don't have the title to it and you don't hold it in your hand, guess what? You don't own it. Don't they tell you that in Bitcoin world, that if you don't hold it in your hand, you don't own it? Don't they tell you that? We hold the titles in our hand. We hold the products that we make in our hand. That means we own this. We have the title, not a deed, not any of that other stuff. We have that too, though. But we own this. This is more than all the Bitcoin put together.
What's that?
This is sea salt, natural resource. This is a commodity. It's a commodity.
So if I now cash out my Bitcoin and I get some fiat with it, and I use my credit card to buy the 20,000 pounds of sea salt.
No.
Why no?
Because I wouldn't sell it to you from a credit card.
No, I'm not talking about from you. I'm talking about I'm going to buy the sea salt because you're not the only one selling sea salt. I have Celtic sea salt, right? What I take every day and like that.
Do you know where it came from? Do you know who produced it, and do you know what's in it?
I have no. I do it like you by faith. I didn't produce it. You produce yours?
I did. I went to the Pacific Ocean. I got the water. I boiled it down to sea salt. And
oh my gosh! Awesome. So you're simply reinventing the wheel.
No, I'm not. I'm creating the wheel. The other stuff is fraud. You don't even know what's in that stuff. It might taste like salt, but it might be something else, which it usually is.
So are you saying that everything outside of what you personally create is fraud? Is that what you're saying? Logically, talk to me now.
I'm saying everything outside of anything the natural people create is fraud. If we didn't create it, it ain't real.
That's that left a lot.
On the record. I'm stating that on the record.
Well, I'm not saying I'm going to agree with you 100%. Yes, we're dealing with these days. We're having a lot of fake food, especially here in Canada. Even last night I was telling a young lady our country is screwed because it's a lot of fake food we're having. We're not having organic food and from the earth and things like that. We're having garbage we're eating now.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. You're not having that. You're not having real things. You're not having real stuff.
Where do you live? Where do you live? Where can I find you, Tajiri? Where can I find you?
I'm at Washington on the land. I'm not state of Washington.
I'm gonna move close to you so I can get products. Come
on. It's all good. You can get real things that are real, not virtual. This is not fake. It's real. It's false. Look how white that is, and clear. It looks like snow. It's beautiful.
But you know what? As I yield the floor, I love what you're doing, and I must say I commend you for your vision, your insight, and I think what you're doing is just simply awesome. Keep up the good work. I'm with you all the way. I love it.
Mobility. Somebody had to do it. Mobility. We're all doing it. Somebody had to do it, and I'm grateful for because see, you present the portion of this that others won't say, but they might be thinking that, but they won't say it, and you're saying it. Okay, but
That's true. You know what? I'm sorry to cut you, but there's from time to time there's over 40, 50 people here, and honestly, we're hearing the same voices over and over again, and some people just won't ask the right questions, don't know if they're shy, afraid, don't know how to use the mic, they're not public speakers or whatever, but I think hard questions need to be asked so that when those questions are asked and we are satisfied that we have a proper understanding of what to do, when to do, how to do, then we can proceed with confidence. But a lot of people just not coming up to the fore and asking the right questions. And I believe in every situation, I believe in the right questions need to be asked. You can't just sit down and lecture and everybody just seems to agree. They say if 10 people are in a room and they're always agreeing on the same thing, somebody's not thinking. People need to step up and ask questions. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. I yield.
Islam, while I agree with what you've stated, I also know too that some of those that don't speak up is because the agreement is a soul agreement also. In other words, they get it. They don't have any questions because they get it. They know truth when they hear it, and they get exactly their spirit affirmed. So they're not going to ask questions just to be asking them. They actually agree, and they agree. And they also know how to go into their spirit. And if they don't, if there's something they don't agree with, they can go in their spirit and they'll get the answer there too.
That's one side of the coin.
That's one
side of the coin. Let me just respond to that, please. That's one side of the coin. But most people, I know what it is to be a leader among people. Most times, it's always the dominant few that speaks. The rest are just drifters. They just go along with everything, and the time that they speak is when they're on the outside. But anyway, I won't take up any more time. I yield.
Justice Willie, thank you for that. This Congress is the antithesis of what you've been experiencing with that. This Congress is the exact opposite of what you've been experiencing. That's why we're here. We are the antithesis of that. Everyone in this Congress is the leader of the Congress. Everyone is the leader. That's how
Islam.
With what you're saying,
Islam. There are no followers here. None.
And that was established earlier when the herd was mentioned by Empress Sasha, and you and Empress Light was confirming that, and we've already established that. So I don't know, but anyway, can we move on, please?
Yeah, we will to be honorable to each other while we're doing all of this. I will say this too. Justice Willie mentioned something about hard questions being asked. We've not been asked a hard question yet. So when the hard question comes, which I don't believe it's coming, because there's no such thing as a hard question, because we think with the great mind. The great mind is all of us together, and there's no question we can't answer, and there's no solution or remedy that we don't create. If there seems to be no remedy, we just create one. That's what we're doing. So,
Islam, and that is the law.
Yeah, that is the law. That is how this Congress gets up there. So with that being stated, fiat is dead, and the people that created Bitcoin are trying to tell you that. Just if you don't believe us, you don't have to believe us. Listen to the people you've been listening to. Islam and Cynthia.
That's right. Here I am. I'm going to chime in with this because he forget that we are researchers.
Of course.
If there's something that it doesn't chime with us, it doesn't make sense, we go look for it ourselves.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're all leaders. We have skills. Yeah. We have a love for each other, respect. We don't have to argue about things. We go find out for ourselves. And we find out something is incorrect, then we bring the information back. Islam, I yield.
The Congress has spoken.
Affirm. It is so.
The Congress has spoken. Mm-hmm. Listen, no one speaks for the Congress speaks for and himself. Islam. And Justice Willie, we love you. You know that. You know that everything that we do, we all do it in love, and we know you love us too. Islam. Now, let me say this also about the cleaning of the cells, is that we are able to have these conversations, and the energy and frequencies that cause things like anger and malice and things like that, those energies pass over our cells and can't get in them. When we clean our cells, there's nothing magnetic to attract the lower energies and the lower frequencies. That's really what's going on with the clean cells.
Islam, can I chime in on that? Because I just finished watching a video either on Facebook or Instagram about copper, true copper, and how copper cannot be magnetized. So if you're thinking you're getting copper, take a magnet. If it reflects off the copper, then you know it's 100% copper. But if it sticks, then you know it's iron coated with copper. And it was stated that copper is like you were stating with the salt, it naturally cleans the cellular level, and how drinking out of copper, cooking with copper, eating using utensils with copper is one of the best ways, in many ways to clean your cellular structure. And then I saw another post about grounding and using copper.
Yes.
And how you attach copper to yourself and then stick it in the ground, and you can ground yourself while you rest, because we once were, but we're going back to our natural being of grounding, because going back in nature, finding yourself outside amongst the trees, being tree huggers and stargazers and moon gazers and sun gazers, and all of that, like you were speaking about, seeing and hearing with your eyes, and being able to look up and look at the stars, the moon, and the sun. You can hear and see the frequencies with your eyes. So, and then while you're doing that, you're also grounding to the ground with no shoes on. And so you're getting a whole, from crown to the sole of your feet, a cleanse and a connection. And then also I saw another one about crystals, and how and why crystals were, banned in the last era, and given all types of, mislabeling, because the ones who were stating those, making those claims, were knowing the true benefits of, just using crystals, because they were saying how crystals remember just like water remembers. And there's memory in crystals. And so when you tap in to the crystals, like you do water and the ground and the sun and the stars, you get back to the nature of things.
Yeah. There's no greater memory also along those, in affirmation of what you're saying. There's no greater memory than the memory that's in our blood, which is 76% water in our bodies. Yeah.
But it's not that other water that, because there's different types of water. All water is not created equal. And you know, they have different lakes and different oceans, and you know, that show the creation and the difference of different waters, because like the sea and the ocean, they meet, but they don't mix.
That's because of the ionization level, the level of ions. The higher the ion level, the better the water is for us. If it's highly ionated water, like you see in the pyramids, that runs through the pyramids, it causes electricity to freely transmit a lot easier. See, this is the thing more about even the difference between electricity and magnetism. Magnetism is a hypothecation of electricity, because you know electricity can attract depending on the frequency. Just like a magnet, electricity can bring things to it. Just like when people are being electrocuted, they can't pull their hand from whatever it is. Somebody has to come and help them, right? Mm-hmm. That's the difference between magnetism and electricity. Gold is not magnetic. It is electrically charged. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. The sea salt is not magnetic. It's electrically charged.
I affirm.
See? And the moon, and that's how the moon and the ocean water that we pull our sea salt from, the moon raises the ionization level of the water, and that's what causes the water to be so active around today. Today is the full moon day, everyone. So this is a powerful day, a very powerful day energetically for all of us. And it has a direct effect on our bodies. Just ask those that were previously acting as police. Around full moon time, everything goes up for them in their enactment, or was going up for them in their enactment, in terms of arrests and persons doing crazy things and all of that. It's because of the effect of the moon on our bodies. And that's by way of ionization, not magnetism. And gravity is not a magnetism issue, it's an ionic issue. It's an attraction issue, not a magnetic issue. So, yeah. So, and that's why when we drink more water, that helps our cells to heal and to clear up, and helps every organ in our body to filter better, because we are giant filters, everyone. Each and every major organ in our bodies is a filtration system of some kind. Either it filters food, or it filters blood, or it filters energy. Food, blood, energy. And that's where ionization helps, and then magnetic metals that's not the way to go for us. That was the previous era. This era, it's ionization. Islam. So a few things that are happening just in affirmation of what we're doing already. Restatement is in order. I will to show where, and again, this is just more affirmation that things were being quote unquote revised. Revision is the inferior or opposite of restatement. The root word of revise is vizier, like judge, vizier. We have viziers in the Moorish Caliphate. So this is the enactment of a bill to codify, revise, and reform Title 18 of the United States Code to make appropriate amendments to the federal rules of criminal procedure, to make conforming amendments to criminal provisions of other titles of the United States Code, and for other purposes. So this is just another way of saying that they were looking at our original writings from time since they first began enacting. They were looking at what we put out there for centuries, and they were revising and reforming and reconstructing, but never restating, because you can't restate something if you're not a state. So they use the term form and revise and codify. Codify is the hypothecation of the word to make it into a law. So they say we'll just codify or code it. And this is how you know whether a Congress is fake or if a Congress is real. A Congress is fake if they're codifying things. A Congress is real if they're making it laws, because that's what Congress is supposed to do: make law, create laws, and enforce the laws. And as you can see, the enforcement has already happened, because we said fiat is dead. And now they're saying, uh-oh, the Moor said fiat is dead, but they didn't just say it, they made it happen. So here they go. There it is. And we'll say this also about, those who sing the praises of Bitcoin and things like that. And that's not just Justice Willie. There are others. I have people in my clan who feel that Bitcoin is their savior. Unfortunately, none of them have more than just a few dollars worth of that stuff. None have gotten wealthy. They're just as poor and deficient as they were with the fiat piece. They didn't have much fiat, and they don't have much of that other stuff either, because it's a rationing situation. They hear about people getting quote unquote rich off Bitcoin, but it's never them. Never them. And it never will be. So and just so that we're all aware, Justice Sheikh Klein Bey, it does matter whether it's grown by us or not. Life manifests in our own hands. So the moment we put something in our hands, and see, that's what we're saying about Bitcoin. You can't put a Bitcoin in your hand. When we put this in our hands, it now exists. The sea salt. When we put it in our hands, it exists at that time. It's a commodity now because we're holding it. We have it. And then we've put the law on the public record about it. So it matters whether it's grown by us or whether it's whatever kind of seed it is. That it makes a difference. It's the same way as if it, and I'll use us as an example. Some used to look at us and say that we're blacks and Negro and colored and African American. Now, we haven't changed the way we look, as it were. Not really, but we really have. But what matters is, who did we state that we are by blood? And how did we go about manifesting that? You see, that's how you know when a seed is real. It's real when we put it in our hands and manifest it. That's what makes it real. That's called self-governing. Speaking of self-governing, I have a quick question for you. And this is for everyone to just think about. There's the question on the screen. If you use an identification document written by a foreign corpse, are you self-identifying and self-governing? That's a question. Are you self-governing if you're using something that they use to identify you? They're saying that you're this or that, and you accept their description and their person. Are you self-governing when you do that?
Islam.
Islam.
You're not. Absolutely not. You've just put yourself into chattel property. You've just denationalized yourself. You don't actually exist. You're a property now. You're of the dead.
By your own agreement.
By your
not
consent.
By what they said now. Not by what they said, because they can't say anything about you. You have to agree to it for it to be true.
You have to. I mean, because you're not. None of us are bound by any corporation or form or anything of any other jurisdiction than our own without our consent. And so by using their things and accepting their things, you're consenting to being their property. That's the absolute truth. So, which is why we are learning and why we are remembering who we are, so that we don't do that.
And the thing is, we don't have to. All we have to do is create our own and have it look very similar to their suggestion, because this is a suggestion. A driver's license made by them is a suggestion on how we could possibly go about making our own. That's all their documents are. That's why they're called acts and not real.
And those things are there for those whom cannot, for whatever reason, or choose not to create their own. They're there for the minors and the incompetent. I mean, that's why they're there.
We're just saying. So, where Delarium is concerned, this is a, now let me just, and again, we will to just make it as simple as possible. One of the Moors at the territory is a great fisherman, and he went out and he caught fish. And this was 2 or 3 years ago that this occurred. And he willed to gift us with the fish. We honored his energy for his willingness to give, but we made the suggestion that that he's worthy of compensation for his work, and that we would absolutely be honored if he would accept our gift back to him of more sovereign delarium for the fish. That's how simple using our own money is. Listen, if you think about it, most of us do the things we do for each other because we love each other, right? We've been doing these congresses here for 7 years because we love our nation. Our nation is worth our time and energy. And because of that, many, many, many Moors have given donations of delarium into the millions, billions, and trillions of delarium to us as donations. So we know we're super, super wealthy. We know that. They just will to give, and we will to accept because of the energy. So we went ahead and we did a, now y'all have to forgive my ability to cut open the fish and to, do the skinning because I had no experience with that. But once I bought the fish, I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut it open and I'm gonna make it. We did that and put some things with it, a salad, and had a great meal. Okay, so this is how simple it is. Now, he could have easily probably taken the fish down the street to a market somewhere and sold it for fiat, but that's not how that works. And see, because we put a lien on that stuff, all of us, the people, we must do commerce together among ourselves in this manner. We must. So anyone who is talking about, because we keep hearing that one, you can't go to the grocery store and get fish and eggs and milk with delirium or gold or silver. And we're like, well, of course not. Okay, you can if you do the demonstration properly, but the ones who are saying that won't be able to do it until they declare their nationality first. Then you go to each other. Now, he could have cut the fish for me and all of that because I did not know how to do it at the time. I can't say I didn't know how to do it. I had not done it before. I can't say I didn't know. I just hadn't done it, and that's not an excuse for not doing it. Not knowing how to do something is not an excuse to not do it. You still have to do it even though you think you don't know how to do it. That's what we're doing. That's what we've been doing. So I did what I went onto YouTube and looked up a video on how to do it, and I just did the best I could, and it turned out delicious. It was great and fresh. So this is how we do among ourselves, how we do commerce among ourselves. It's that simple. There's no territory where people don't know how to fish. That territory does not exist. Is there anyone here who's at a territory where no one knows how to fish?
It's funny. That's hilarious. I mean, okay, can I make a statement?
Sure.
If it wasn't so, then there would not be such thing as a fishing license. And there would be no selling boats or fishing boats either if people didn't know how to fish. Shoot, people fish recreationally just for the calm, serene water and, just being out there with nobody, just being in nature. People do it to de-stress and they go fishing.
We see a lot of fishermen out here where we are at because we're so close to the Pacific Ocean. And I already know that if I went up to any of them and said to them, because they're in small vessels, if I went up to any of them and said, hey, can I give you 4 silver coins for 4 fish or 20 fish or 30 fish? They would jump on that in a heartbeat. They would do it.
Mm-hmm.
They would do it because they were out there just doing it for their family anyway. They would do it in a heartbeat.
Right. And then you also have fishing sports where people do it for sport. And then you have ice fishing. I mean, come on now.
And then go ahead, Empress.
There's so many different types of fishing, So.
And going out and getting plants. We do that often. I mean,
foraging.
We eat so much dandelion salad, we should look like a dandelion by now. We love it. We put it with what we have, and then we move forward. Now, do we do that all the time? No. Sometimes we go to the grocery store. in the process of demonstrating what we're doing. Because again, Moors, hear me, we're in transition. That's why we don't cast judgment on people for whatever they're doing. We don't judge anybody for what they're doing. We're in transition. Fiat is dead. Everybody knows that. And that's why they were saying something about a CBDC, quote unquote, and all of that in their enactment, because they know fiat is dead too. So now that we have, and we've always had, a financial system, an economic system, a viable way to get things, all we have to do is keep demonstrating that and keep looking for ways to demonstrate that. Each and every one of us comes to the table with talents, skills, abilities, gifts that our ancestors have gifted us with. So, again, we've just found a way to package and do things that are not fiat driven. Now, I'll say this about that also. We use whatever resources we have. See, fiat was actually supposed to be just another resource. That's what it was supposed to be. It's just another way for us to grow our estate. That's what it was originally supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be the main way, and people that don't have it suffer. It wasn't supposed to be that. And until you get to the point where it's no longer the main thing, because it can't be the main thing, because it's just not, that's not how this works. What's already here doesn't use it, doesn't recognize fiat. The system that's already here does not recognize fiat. It doesn't. So the outgoing, and it's already gone, enactment of a system recognizes fiat, because fiat came from its creators, or makers rather. It's makers, not creators. So some are still
Islam.
clawing.
Islam,
Empress.
Could you unlock, please, so I can go out and come back in?
Yes, Islam.
Thank you. Islam, I am.
So, Justice Willie, thank you for that. He says in the chat, that's $1 million question indeed. We should create our own identity docs. We have already done that. So, Justice Willie, we appreciate that realization, that knowing. We are grateful that the light bulb is on. Islam. So Islam.
This is Empress Imani. I've had a lot of questions as things were progressing, but I didn't want to stop to ask the questions because everything is just so good. So I'm just excited about what I'm hearing and all the things that are happening. And there's some things that are happening for me that are just astronomical. First I want to say, today is my dad's birthday. He is 97 years young.
Wow, Empress. Wow, that's so beautiful. Yes. Islam.
Yes. And so what I did is I traveled to where they are, and I used my moorishe ID to travel. And it was so exciting that I didn't pull out some U.S. corporation ID.
Beautiful. Empress, was it the driver's license or the national ID?
No, I don't even have the driver's license yet.
It was just the national ID? Perfect. Beautiful. That's part of that was
all.
Yeah, Islam.
That was all. And as a matter of fact, so I had that, and I had the travel ID, right? But I didn't use that one. I just used just the simple ID.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And everything went flying colors, and I'm still here with them.
Yes.
So yeah, with family. I'm not exactly with my dad and my mom, but I'm here with family. So I'll be here for another few days. But I just thought that was so fabulous going through the airport, and here I go, and I am just elated using this ID that states who I actually am.
Yes.
So that was so exciting. Then moving on, now, what else did I want to say? Because there was just a lot, but I wanted to go back to, because as we state that the fiat has fallen, and I'm trying to use my first eye so I can look and see what does that look like for people who do not and have not. Is it claim or reclaim their sovereignty?
So what it looks like for them is that over time, and many of them are already experiencing this, over time, it's going to get harder and harder for them to obtain things using that. And they're going to wonder why. A good example of that is using fiat. It's going to get harder and harder for them to obtain things. And so they're going to start asking why. I'll give you an example of a migration that I saw like that. There was a time in my sleep when if anyone ever pulled out a military ID, that served as the ID. You didn't even have to show any other ID. You could just use your military ID to write a check or to do things. This was years ago in my sleep. Over time, places started not acknowledging that ID. They would say, that's a military ID. We see that it's not expired. We see that all of that is, it's good for you, but we don't accept that here. And people were in shock. They were like, what? You don't accept military ID? What? But that happened so quickly. It happened like that, where many of the places were like, nope, we don't accept that. It was just a shock. And it's the same way with fiat. Places are going to start saying, no, do you have anything else to pay with?
Oh, so that's going to be a shock.
It's already started with a lot of places. It's already started. That's why we must continue to notify all the places that, hey, this is the law right here. Gold, silver, Moorish sovereign dollarium, or documentation on the record with any of those as the support for the documentation, or the documentation being the support for the money system.
Right.
That's what it looks like. It's already started.
Right. Okay, and so then I have a question.
On a systemic level, those ones, and these ones right here, these ones right here that are on the screen, on a systemic level, it's already done. The system is not accepting large amounts, because the system used to accept large amounts of that stuff so that they could tribute it and dole it out to people, or distribute it and dole it out. But the system is saying, nope, no more of that. No more. And these ones on the screen, these persons on the screen, see that the system is not doing that. And see, they used to be able to put a whole bunch of fiat into the Bitcoin system, but they can't. The system is not accepting the fiat anymore. So they're saying fiat is dead, fiat is dead. They're trying to warn everybody that The interchangeability will not be there. It's already not there.
That sounds like a predicament.
It's quite the pickle. It's quite the pickle for them. They're going to have
right.
They know what time it is. They know what a constitution is. They know what gold and silver is. Islam, Empress, I yield. Islam.
Okay. So here's my next question as it relates to what you're saying and the predicament they're going to be in. So are we to create for subjects to have a way of life to survive or to live? Are we to create where they can earn sovereign dollarium?
The system for them to earn is already in place. They already know about it, and they already got gold and silver saved up. They just didn't have a way to use it until we said, this is how it will be used. They're already ready. It was us that had to get ready.
Okay.
They're already ready. They got gold coins and silver coins already.
Oh, okay. For them, for the subjects to, let's say, for example, okay, got it. So, for example, I'm still hypothetically on a Job, and even though fiat has fallen, now tomorrow when I go in and now it's payday, actually what I'm getting is either gold or silver and not this fiat because it's gone. Is that kind of like how it's going to happen?
It's already happening. It's already happening. And we showed you where in the banking system, for example, we signed on to our account and showed you more sovereign dollarium in the account. Did we not?
Right.
We did that.
Yes.
Everybody, we've done it multiple times. And we signed on to the bank account and showed you more sovereign dollarium in there. Everyone else has the same thing in their account. It may not be showing on the screen yet, but it will. And in the back of the system, it's already that gold, silver, and more sovereign dollarium gold receipts.
Got it. Okay.
So their paycheck is going to look the same, except it's nominated not in U.S. Federal Reserve debt notes. It's nominated or named in more sovereign dollarium gold receipts and gold and silver. It's already done.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
It's already done.
Wonderful.
And now the system is just making that conversion. As people continue to wake up, the system is converting everything over as it should. But see, it had to be done on a macro level to start it at the people level. The macro level being stop them from stuffing fiat into a system in the millions and trillions, because that was the enactment previously, and then have it so that the system it no longer recognizes the dead stuff, and the system recognizes the living, real gold and silver money. So that's what it looks like. The ones and zeros are now named or nominated, not denominated. It's nominated or named in gold, silver, and more sovereign dollarium gold receipts. And for the banking system, it's gold receipts in dollarium gold receipt, more sovereign dollarium gold receipts.
Oh, gold receipts. Okay. Okay. So then I'd like to respond to your question about whether or not we are self-governing when someone else, or when we allow someone else to name us or define us. And that answer is no. And we become or we give up that, or our self-governing position by acquiescence. So, and then I was thinking about how it's so easy to give up our estate when we allow that to happen. So like when they first called us colored, and then we went to Negro, I don't know which one of those was first, but anyway, and then we went to Black rather, and then African American, And we not really thinking that when we take on those titles, we, by acquiescence, we giving up our estate. Just that easy. And it's gone.
There it is. And those
Exactly.
that
We just
are
gave it up.
attempting to name us that know that. Those
Right.
that are attempting to
They
get
know
us
that.
to accept their driver's license, they already know that if you accept that, you're giving up your estate and
Wow.
taking on their debt. Because their estate is a debt estate.
Because you know what that means for me now that you're saying that, and that this trick for me, this travel, I would say.
Yes.
So this
Yes.
travel for me, using my moorishe ID, that means you can't go back to using that other thing. That's not your ID no longer.
Why would you?
Exactly.
You know what it is?
Exactly.
You know what those old IDs and they're not even IDs, those forms of ID, they then become evidence in a case for fraud.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
Evidence in a case for fraud.
That would make sense.
And that's the only reason we would keep them, is to use them as evidence. Just like those actors that were acting as police would keep all the drugs and all the drug money,
yes,
and use it as evidence,
yes,
and then nobody knows whatever happened to it after that. But it's evidence. Those are evidence in a fraud case. And here's the thing: when you prove the fraud, then there is compensation that comes with that.
Yes. So here's my next question: as we're talking about that. Let's say, for example, we made a payment with the moorishe sovereign delarium, and there is a pretension that it was accepted, but instead, actually what happened was they kept it, and they continued on with the fraud.
So when that happens, that means that yes, you did everything the right way, and the whole thing was done correctly, because there's no wrong way to be yourself. That's number one. Number two, whatever they send after that is another test. So you just look it up, you look at what they're really saying, and then you let the Spirit lead you on how to respond to that. It could be that you restate what was done, whatever they send after that, you restate it and state it as a credit. Or it could be doing a court action and then stating the policy, because that's where we are right now with all of these demonstrations. We're seeing that yes, they know that the payments are proper, but we have to then quote the policy that says this payment is proper. And then once you've quoted the policy, then you must know. And everything that comes out of your mouth has to match what you put on the paper. Then you know that you don't have to talk to them on the phone, because that's a lot of times Moors will do their documentation and then pick up the phone or get in their conveyance and march down to the bank or to the office, and they think they're talking to somebody down there. And that's the biggest trap ever. You don't have to. That's like, let me tell you what that's like, and I'm going to try not to laugh. That's like you go into a quote-unquote court, and the judge saying, you're sentenced to pay $5 or $30 for this ticket, okay? And then when you don't pay the ticket, the one doing business as judge himself comes marching down to your house, knocking on the door, talking about, hey, I thought I told you to pay $30 for that ticket. No, he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. They don't do that. That's not how that's done. Most people just go ahead and take care of it and pay it. But see, he can't just come there and show up and say that. he has to then write up a warrant. What is a warrant? A warrant is a justification to send force. That's what a warrant is. A warrant points to the law and says, this is the law that was broken. And this is why. And this is who broke it. Because, see, you have to have a person on there. Now, if we answer to the person, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Now, if you, Empress, are answering to the person, that's a problem. But if you're not answering to the person and you're dictating the law, that's the remedy. And that is a matter of the mindset. Do you know that you're not answering for the person? What you're really doing is you are being the court over all persons and all parties in that issue.
May I?
Just one moment, Justice Willie. Empress Imani, does that split the hair on the wheat and hairs of the matter?
It does. And then the other thing that I was thinking, and this is just a thought, because of the fact that it's almost like you feel like you've been robbed, because you've given what you were supposed to give to cover whatever it was that needed to be covered. But then they took it and they kept it, but yet within the same turn around and still did the dishonor. So I'm like, yeah, so it's a thought.
The dishonor, let me just point to the meat of the matter. The meat of the matter is that if you feel dishonored by what they did, you have to know that they didn't do that to you. They did it to their courts. Now, let me clarify. Let me clarify that. If you felt that you were answering for the courts and doing everything they said because they said the courts had to do this and this and this, and you did all of that, even you did it with delarium, you did it with gold and silver, and they still did a dishonor. Even in those cases, they were never talking to you, and you have to know that they were never talking to you, but that you were the court over the matter. You were not to do what they said. You were to quote the law to them and say, if there is anything, any type of an exchange, number one, there's no debt. Number two, the exchange happens like this and not like what they say. Because, see, our feelings are an indicator of what we were thinking. And I'll give you an example. When the actors that were previously acting as policy enforcer came to this domicile in 2018, and for 3 weeks straight, they would come and just knock on the door. In the morning, they would come and knock on the door, okay, in their enactment. They couldn't kick it in because we didn't have any contracts with them. They couldn't kick it in. So they would just come and knock. So it was getting irritating. So I said, ancestors, first and foremost, I'm irritated and I'm even a little fearful because they keep coming. And I don't know why they're coming. I don't have any contracts with them. So why do they keep coming and knocking on the door? The Spirit said to me, you've already proven that you don't have any contracts with them. You've proven that. You've proven that you're not under their jurisdiction or authority because they have none. But now you must prove not only that you're not under their authority, but that they are under yours. So it was not for me to go down there and say, I gave y'all paperwork, y'all ain't supposed to be coming to my door. It wasn't for me to do that. It wasn't for me to go down there and say, I came to check on this war rent and see why y'all keep coming to my door. I already gave y'all documentation. I'm sovereign. No, no. The ancestors said, no, like you govern them. And you're not governing police, because that's not who that is.
Right.
You are governing subjects.
Okay.
That's who that is. So then, instead of me sending documentation, because this in 2018, our courts were starting to come together and manifest in our mind. So the ancestors said, okay, now govern them the way that if the shoe was on the other foot, how would they govern you or attempt or enact governing you? You put that shoe on your foot because you're wearing them, it's your feet. You govern them. So I had to call them to court as subjects. First, I had to place a lien, of course, on the fakeness. And then I had to call them to court. And then I had to do a court action. So I put all of that up on Facebook, did the paperwork and everything up on Facebook to publish it because it had to be public. I took a photo of all of that. And then I did the court action, put that up on YouTube, published it, because see, anybody can look at YouTube, and published it, and they stopped coming.
Okay. I think that may be the final step that I needed to get to. Because even though, okay, so I did the court action.
Just keep going. However your spirit says keep going. And you know it's to govern and have dominion. You know that.
Repeat that. I got part of it.
You know that it's to govern and have dominion. I already showed them that I was not the person that they were knocking for. I wasn't that person. I did that part right. Mm-hmm. The ancestor said, now you have to take it to the next level. So you're just doing levels, Empress. Take it to the next level. You have dominion over them.
Okay, got it.
And the only way for us to know that we have dominion, the only way for us to know we have dominion is to do it.
And that was the other thing that you were expressing to us. I think this may have been like a couple of congresses before. And you had mentioned something about us doing the court action. You got to call them to court. I think that was when I did my first. And you were saying something, and I replied and said, okay, so does that mean that we actually don't need to do it then? And you said, no, yes, you do. Because everybody needs to know how to do a court action, which is, I'm finding out, yes, you do. Because it doesn't matter at what stage it is, you still got to do a court action because you're over them.
Yes.
So a court action has to be done. And that's kind of like where I am. So it's not necessarily that I feel like I personally am dishonored. So it's not that I feel like I'm being dishonored. No, I felt like the Larian, the more sovereign Delarian, was being dishonored because, in a sense, I guess I kind of feel like it was ignored. So like I was saying, it's kind of like somebody took your money and ran off with it.
Yeah.
You know, so it was kind of like that to me. But anyway, so then
we've been there, by the way. Just keep going.
Oh, okay, great. Then I just figured that because I'm not shaken, I'm not moved, none of that, because I realize what is actually happening is that it's a must. So it doesn't matter where any of us are in our demonstrations, it is necessary that we go through the demonstrations. You're going to face them. You got to have them. So it's going to happen. So it's not to save ourselves. You're not going to save yourself. You can't save yourself in the sense that you're going to keep yourself from experiencing that. No, you're going to experience it because you got to you got to stand.
You have to have dominion over it.
Exactly. And then one more thing, because my battery's about to go off on my earbud, and I don't want to lose you all. But the last thing I wanted to say was the polyphosphate, I think is what you called it. And so the polyphos.
Polyphos.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay. So
on the screen.
Oh no, I can't see it, so I'm on my phone. But I'd like to point out that the first thing that came to my mind was Kalima. And when you think of exactly Kalima, and so then when you think of Ka is time, and so when you think of the sea salt, it adds time to your life.
Yes, indeed, it does.
Your life is extended.
Yes, it is. Automatically.
I say, and I yield. I think that's all that I wanted to express. I'm just so excited. I'm having a time of my life.
Indeed.
This is so beautiful. The things that are happening is so beautiful. Just when you think, okay, that might be against you, no, it's not.
Nope. It never is. It never
is. And that's why it's so exciting. Because someone else would look at that and say, no, it's not working, or no, that should not have happened, or I thought maybe that should not have happened that way. Yes, it is, because you need the experience, number one. You need to stand. You need to govern. All of these things need to happen. So all of that is a part of our experience.
Well, think about how many actors that were acting as judges that were out there. Think about how many were acting as judges.
Yes.
We have to have, all of us are judges, but we must know that. It's not something anybody can just tell you. We must know it. And the only way to know it is to do it and be it.
Is to do it. And be it. That is exactly it.
Yeah. Islam. I just want to state that we keep talking about the lawful, and you had mentioned, Empress Light, that it's imperative that Moors know the legal processes as well, to know the balance of the two and how to work the both.
Yes.
Islam.
Our nationality is the lawful, and then being the judge is both lawful and the legal. So we have dominion in all of the dimensions. At all dimensions, we have dominion over all.
It's just the knowing how to demonstrate the legal.
Yes.
The legal documentation with the legal letterhead, and so on and so forth. That's what you stated is important.
Yes.
And I actually today I created the legal matrimony allodial title affidavit today. I was so proud of myself. I did it. I looked at the suggestion, and I went with my intuition and spirit, and I did an amazing job, I must say. It came out beautiful.
Now, think about this. If you hadn't been tested the way you've been tested, would you have manifested that at this time so beautifully?
No. And in the full moon, too, I did it.
Come on. That's what the testing was all about. It's to get us to a place that we didn't even think we could get to. But we're here.
Yeah.
We're here. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's for our good. It's all good.
I wanted to have chipped in earlier.
Yes,
I think you forgot me.
I actually did not forget you, but there was a flow that was going.
I know.
Go ahead, Nobility.
Just to add to the conversation that you're having previously. I need you to, however, address and now because it's so long, I forget the trend of thought, but I note it down. They use this thing of, it's, as you rightly said, it's not against you, the man, that they have these tickets and these, like when they use a judgment against, it's really against your fiction that they create, and that is why they have that thing called in rem action, where it's against your property, and it's also against your they hold your body as a surety for a bond. So that is how they operate. So you're correct in that they're not they'll never come knocking at your door, but what they'll do is put a lien against your property.
Not my property. No, they put a lien against the corpse that they created.
Yes, but they also come against if you have a property. Okay, let me explain something because I've checked it out. If you bought a house, when you pay that money, it shows that it's the living man paid the money. However, when it was transferred to the title and you get that title or deed, and I know that's not even the best thing to have, but you know, that's how the system is for now until you change that. But what they do is put it in the all caps that they have created and have jurisdiction over. And that's why I said earlier, when you ask about that creating your name, it's $1 million question for yourself rather than their identity of you. Because what these people are functioning is as, the trick is, they have created this fiction of you and try to make you accept that you are it. Just a couple days ago, I went with a friend to court, and he makes sure he tell them, look, I am just speaking on behalf of that fiction, but I am not it. So I'm the living man and so on. Oh, well, you're not it? Okay, we're going to send out a warrant for the arrest. So I'm just like laughing to myself, how are you going to arrest a fiction? But the point is, in a nutshell, these people operate with using your land, your house, and put liens against it. And if you don't pay that money, they will sell it and kick you out of your house. So talk to me about that, please. And your body as a bond.
Okay.
Custody,
So in order to get to the property, they have to get you to consent to be the corpse. Now, you specifically, Justice Willie, have come on to the record and stated that you're okay being the corpse or the person in all caps. So therein is the access for them to do all of those things to something that you think is your property. Now, the reason they cannot touch sovereign property, thank you. The reason they cannot touch sovereign property, living property, is that not only is our person our own creation, but the location of our property is our creation also. See, with their person that you've agreed to accept comes addresses and two-letter states that don't exist because you have to agree to that. So you have already agreed that, yes, they're the court for you. Yes, they're the court for your property. Yes, they are the tax assessor for your property. And yes, your property is located where they say it's located on their paper. And yes, you are the all caps person that they say you are.
And yes, you pay fiat with it for it as well.
Yes, and yes, you've agreed to their money system because their money system is fiction also. So now, because you've made all those agreed, because see, they can't get to it if you don't agree to any of that. You have to know it exists first in order not to agree to it. But when you decide that you don't agree to any of that, then you say, okay, I'm not under any of that. then the spirit will say to you, okay, if you're not under that, then who's governing this property? Who's governing you? Who's governing your person? You have to provide a response to that that is both lawful and legal. Nationality is the sovereign lawful part. Creating a sovereign deed, a sovereign trust deed for the property, stating that the property is in a state that's spelled all the way out and not just a two-letter state with a zip code, because zip codes are not real. Post office codes are real. Post codes are real. Zip codes are not real codes. They're acts. That's for actors in Hollywood, like Bugs Bunny and stuff. So you must create all that pertains to you so that only your word applies to your person. Now, if you're not creating your person, your own person, and then notifying everyone that you speak for your person, because your person can't speak. See, they know that persons can't speak. But if a sovereign, a living, is not speaking for the person, then guess what? They pretend to be not a person and start speaking for the person. And then they start calling persons to court, and they start putting their debt onto the persons, and so on and so forth. And as long as you think that what they say about your person is true, even though they're liars and their father is the father of lies, but the moment that you say, okay, I know that I'm not that, so who am I? First of all, we are the law, we are the government, we are the sovereigns, we're the state, we're the federal, we're the local, we're the county, we're the land, we're the empire, we are the all. We're the governor, we're the tax assessor, we're the police, we're all of that for ourselves. So then we go about and create the documents that police and tax assessors and governors and state secretaries and federal governments and Congresses and gods would create. We go about and create all the words and the documents that pertain to that. So if you know that a tax assessor is involved in an issue with property, then you must be that tax assessor, not just pulling yourself out from under someone acting like that and then not governing it yourself. You must govern it yourself. Now, the basis for you being able to do that is that you've been on the land since time immemorial. That's the basis of everything we do, is that our blood has not changed in trillions of years. This is still the same blood that was here 1 trillion years ago. There never was a time when we weren't here. Everyone knows that. Our blood has not changed in 1 trillion years. That makes it more valuable than gold. So now you write whatever a state secretary would approve and authorize and authenticate, you must now write, approve, and authenticate it. And then notify all that were acting of that the sovereigns got this. We're the government. No actors are not the government. We are. And that goes for every process. Every process. Every process, we must govern it. By our own creation. If a court was going to call somebody in and rule on an eviction, then we must be the court. We must rule on the eviction and then prove why we can rule on that particular land. Why? Do you have the title to the land? Have you created a lodial title to that land? Even if it's an apartment and they're asking about rent, you got the title. So you can pay in dollarium. You have not only the title, but you've created the deed, the trust deed for that property, the whole thing. It's autographed, it's stamped and sealed by the sovereign, which is you. You're the county, you're the state, and all of that. That's what sovereign means. A sovereign is self-contained. You can notarize your own documents and then sign them as the governor of that document. That's what self-governing is. It's mental first. You must know that you are all law or Allah. See, some people feel like, oh, but the process says I have to have a notary to sign it and then I have to authenticate it by the state secretary. You're all of that. So go ahead and sign it as the state secretary. Get your document, make a stamp that says you're the notary. Sign that too. And then sign the document as the tax assessor. That's how you do it. So you can actually exist at a territory where you think there are no other Moors and govern that whole territory, all the land, all the natural resources, all the commerce. You can do all of that. You are the head of the grocery store. You are the head of the bank. So yes, you give yourself the loan and then you turn right around and you write up the grocery store things and send that over to the grocery store and notify the subjects in the office of grocery store that you're coming because you're the head of the grocery store and that you've gotten approval from the Treasury to use these instruments at the grocery store. And those instruments and that approval, you can put that with your sending of the documentation ahead of time because you send it before you go and give them time to read it. Then what do? You sign all of that too. They know what a sovereign does. They know the sovereign does everything. Hold one moment. Hold 1 second. As long as you know the process, you can do each and every part of the process. Because, see, this is about, do we know how our legal system works with the lawful system? We've ever done, we use systems to get it done. Breathing, that's called respiratory system. Walking, that's the gate system. They call it gating. Gate, that's government. Where you walk and how you walk proves whether your gate is correct or your government is correct. And everywhere that you put your feet goes is yours. So know the process, just do the process. Create a document for each office, sign them, autograph the ones that need to be autographed, sign the ones that need to be signed. The 8.5 by 14 on Moorish government letterhead documents are autographed. The company documents that we create and the government documents that we create are signed by us, all by us. I don't have to leave this table to have a notary, a clerk, and a judge to sign the same paper, and a bank, and the seller. I don't have to leave this table to get it done. And then I just notify everyone, notify. This was about the processes anyway. And now that the system has done what it's supposed to do, it's manifested. That's why now even the subjects are saying fiat is dead, fiat is dead, fiat is dead, everyone. It's dead. The subjects are saying that. That's because they're seeing that we have done all the things that needed to be done in the system and to the system. See, we don't have to keep putting that out there, that fiat is not worth anything. We don't have to keep saying it. Our subjects are saying it for us. And they're not speaking for us. All they're doing is further notifying the way we notified them. They're not speaking for us because they never will do that. Never. We speak for ourselves. All they're doing is talking to each other. And those with a subject mentality will hear them. But they got that from us. Because if we listen, because we said it, they have to say it. 10, 15, 20 years ago, they weren't going to say a thing. Because the work had not been done yet. But we've all come together to do the work, and now, look. Now, 2 or 3 years from now, we won't even be having these kind of conversations that we're having today. 2 or 3 years from now, maybe even a year from now, no one's going to doubt that fiat is done, that U.S.fiat is not a thing anymore. No one's going to doubt that, no matter how asleep or awake you are. Let me tell you, I have some clan members who know fiat is dead, and they haven't even declared their nationality. They running around telling each other it's dead. That's how I know it's done. And how confident are we in our statements to affirm what they're saying? One of my clan members was saying, "Hey, Auntie, the dollar is dead. The dollar is dead. You better get you some Bitcoin." And I thought to myself, because he knows what we do, but not to a full extent. Not to the full extent. They still think that the term means religion, like modern religion. They don't know yet, but they're finding out. They're getting it. And to us, hey, let the system tell you what we did. Let the system tell you what we did. See, everybody's looking at systems. We don't have to tell them anymore. The system will do what it's supposed to do. The system will system. And now we don't sound crazy to them. We didn't sound crazy to each other. We sounded crazy to people who thought, oh, fiat's forever. No, it's not. No, it's done. Finished. So, Islam nobility.
It's a pleasure to hear you speak once more. All this knowledge and information you're flashing on.
Islam.
I'm very grateful for it. Then absorbing, I should say. I try to retain them as much as possible. Peace, love, and rising tolerance. I've heard you said something earlier at the beginning of the Congress. I didn't catch it because I was busy trying to do something there in my kitchen. You were saying something about it's the right time, that whatever we put out now won't come back to us, something to that effect. Could you please restate that?
So today is the full moon. And with that ancient matriarchal energy, it is like an energetic wind beneath the wings of our documentation. So if you have any demonstrations that you've been thinking about in your spirit and you're waiting for the right time to do that demonstration, the next week, this next week, the week prior and the week after is a great time, either to just absorb the information or to actually absorb it and then demonstrate it. So we encourage planning with sending out documentation. We encourage Moors to say, okay, Holy Friday is coming up this Friday. I'm going to hold my demonstration and do a little study and then mail it out on that day. Because
Empress. Yeah, that's it. Empress. That is so great to hear. That really is great. You know why that is great to hear, Empress? I'll tell you something. I post my 40 documents on the public record. Yes. That is so, when I can, it is so great to hear. There's no word to describe how great that is to hear, because I finally posted them today. And it's kind of ironic. Yes. Today? I did it today. Yes, today.
And today's the full moon day. See, you're in tune with the spirit, and the spirit is so far ahead of what we normally expect. That lets you know you're in tune with the spirit.
I've always been since birth.
Yeah, of course.
The spirit has been with me since birth. One day soon to come, I'll share that with you on a special level.
Islam,
the spirit is always with me from birth. I was birthed on a special star, so to speak. Yeah. However, I have not also only posted them on the public record, but I've also to the Library of Congress, to the Record of Deeds, and the Attorney General. I emailed them there too.
Good, beautiful. You're the Attorney General, and you sent it to your own office.
Indeed, Empress.
Islam.
Correct you, Stan. That is so great for me to hear what you're telling me now about the time. It was the right time to post it and get it out there.
Oh yes, it's so powerful. It's going to hit it already has hit the target.
Yes. And you know something, Empress, it is kind of ironic. You know, I listening to the last Congress, and I can recall clearly you were saying that there's a lot of Moors out there that haven't done their 40 documents yet. You know, they haven't did it yet.
Yeah. I'm
not playing with this thing, Empress.
Yeah.
My estate belongs to me and my heirs, and they took it from me without my consent. They have to. It has to be returned to its rightful owners.
And ownership is in the documentation. Ownership is in the documentation and the demonstration thereof.
Yes, indeed, it is, Empress. Empress. Yeah. And I must say gratitude to you for your assistance. Gratitude to the Empress Sasha, and gratitude to Empress Anaja. They are the ones who have assisted me.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And yourself. And
the Jamaica Moors, we're so grateful for all of you. The Jamaica is so powerful.
Yes, indeed, it is my pleasure. You know something, Empress? Now that I've established this, right, there are some other things that I want to move on to, but I would like, if you know, with your permission, if it's possible with you, I'd like to have a one-on-one with you to tell you some things that I want to do. Because some things you can't just say in the public, you know? So I would like to speak to you, and maybe if you have an email address or something you can provide me with so we can make a link. And I'd also like to invite Empress Sasha and Empress Anagel to it so we could discuss some things that I want to do.
So, Nobility, what we could do is just have a meeting here on this platform on another day, a different day.
Sure.
That we all agree on, a day that's important. So here's my suggestion is, Nobility, if you will connect with the other empresses that you will to have on the conference, and whenever you all agree on a day and time, we will be present in as much as we can.
Sure. Indeed.
Okay.
And tomorrow I'm going to do some other things tomorrow, because I still have 2 more things to do to tighten the gap with that and seal it up, because I've already did the birth certificate also. Yes, I've already did the travelers, the driver's license. I've already did that also. And I've heard you mention something, and a brother said something that I've watched in one of the videos about instead of just having the driver's license as a travel document, if it could be collaborated with like a passport to turn it into a driver's license, traveling document with a passport in one.
The national ID is the passport.
The national ID
is the passport. That's our passport.
So we won't be for example, working on a specific passport. I remember a brother asked you.
Yeah, we had, because we've seen Moore's working on things like that. The more I think about what we're really doing and what was done previously, we don't have to do as much as what they did previously. The reason that they came up with all of that stuff is because they didn't have a national ID.
Oh, okay.
And so the national ID just abolishes the need for a whole bunch of that paperwork, particularly passports and things like that. Because see, a passport is it means that you have permission to go through that port. The national ID is the port.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
Not just the pass; it's the port. It's nationality is the port.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never knew that. I learned it now.
Yeah. Nationality means, because think about what nationality means. It means that the land is ours. So what port is on our land that we have to have some other permission to come through? You know, we don't. A national ID that's the pass. That's what gets us, because it matches our nationality and our courts and our money and the words that we state.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Empress.
You're welcome, nobility, and I'm just grateful that you hear the spirit.
Oh yes. I mean, this is only a start for me. I know I still have further to go.
Yeah.
Further to go.
Well, it's a rise. It's a grand rising. That means we just go up.
Yes. Put a lot of time into it, and I still intend to put more time into it because it's very important.
It is of the utmost importance.
You know, every time I take up affidavits and look at them, you know, I even wondered to myself how many people will stand when you start the meeting and you do the court action. You says, "I'll stand." I even wonder how many people would even stand when you say that. That's how much I think.
Yeah.
And how serious I take this thing, you know, and I think about my children. Every time I pick up a document, I honestly think about them. I think of myself driving. I'm thinking about them driving too. If I'm thinking about myself flying, I'm thinking about them flying too, because when I'm gone in the flesh, then they are going to carry the torch, so to speak. And there's a lot that I want to teach them about who they are and where they came from and where they should be going.
Yeah.
There is so much, Empress, you know, that I'm facing, and it's just me. But I'm still doing it because it's never too late. You know, and I won't yield. I cease to yield. And like I said, it's only a start, and I intend to move forward.
Yes, indeed.
And I will be attending. Since I've been here, I've never missed any Congress. I intend to keep moving in that direction. And and I'm learning a lot. I'm really learning a lot. And I ask you to please continue to teach me. I'm open to learn. With that, enough love and respect, Empress.
Indeed, and it is returned. The love and respect is returned right back to you, Emperor. I will say this, the point that we're at right now is the point where we have approached what could be termed as normalization.
Yes.
Normalization of our nationality. In other words, no one is surprised anymore that the Moors are here. No one is like, oh, I've never seen that ID before. We're not at that place.
And in addition to that, Empress, I tell you something, because I've seen this happen before on many occasions.
Yes.
A lot in the future to come, a lot of people are going to regret that they had took this journey on this road.
They're going to regret what, nobility?
That they didn't took the journey on this road.
Yeah.
So unfortunate, you know. But like they say, you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make him drink it.
Yeah.
You know? And we're thankful for your Congress and your teaching, trying to open people's eyes so you could get them awakened. You know, but like I said, in the future, a lot of people, they're going to regret that they never.
Well, our right now where we are is normalization. What normalization means in reference in affirmation of what you're stating, but also in reference to normalization means that every one of us who is where this Congress is right now, we have the opportunity now to reap the harvest of all the work that we've done.
Right.
And what does that look like?
That's why I made that statement.
Yeah, it's harvest.
That's why I made that statement. Indeed.
Yeah, it is harvest time. And harvest time, what harvest time looks like is a harvest of everything and everyone. And when we say everyone, we mean that, just like recently, I was invited to an event, and it was all Christians there. It was not a Christian event, but the people that attended this gathering were Christians. They go to church every Sunday.
Okay.
And so I didn't have to go in there quoting the law every 5 seconds and all. I didn't have to do all of that. I just they were playing games. You know, we played some games. You know how people get together and they play games, and it's like a family.
Regular interaction. Regular
interactions, and every now and then a window would open for me to say something and plant some seed. So I would plant the seed and then get right back to the games.
Yes.
Plant the seed. It was so subtle, but it was very effective. I know that. I know that. And so the ancestors gave us the opportunity to see that that is what normalization looks like. Normalization is now when we speak, people don't look at us like we have two heads. They actually looked at us with hope in their eyes that all is not lost for them.
Indeed, it's true. I see it happen a lot of times.
And that's because of the hard work that we've all been doing.
Yes.
We don't sound strange now. We sound like we know something.
Yeah, and everything is starting to become a reality.
Yes. And I did have to just keep my ears tuned to my inner spirit and know when to pull back on the information, because some of it is too heavy for them right now.
Yes, it's true.
So the ancestor said, you're not going there to reap the whole harvest now. What you're doing now is planting seeds, and those that you've spoken to previously, you've planted seeds. Now just water what you planted. Give it a little bit of water, not too much.
It's going to tickle in their mind. It's going to be tickling in their mind.
Not one of them looked at us like we were crazy. Not one. And that was not always the case. I'm going to tell you that. In 2017, 2018, we got some looks. People were like, Whoa, you know.
And I can tell you, you know what those looks are, Empress? Those looks are, when you hear the truth, you know it.
Yes.
That's the look.
But see, we had to break that other thing, that illusion. We had to break the illusion. We had to break the illusion for everyone, not just for us.
Right. So much fantasy.
And that came by way of the legal processes, liens, levies, bonds, court actions, dollarium, gold, silver. In other words, put up the truth. And all of that other stuff will fall away because it wasn't real. And some people still think that stuff is real, but the illusion is breaking for them too.
Right. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, yeah. And we're grateful. We're grateful. Liens are a boa constrictor to fraud and fiction.
Yes,
lawful. Liens are a bear. It's like the difference between a bear on a baby deer. And that's kind of graphic, but fraud not stand up to an original indigenous ancient lien. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Indeed, it's true, Empress. The truth is the truth. When you hear the truth, you know it.
Yeah. That system knows. See, if we would have spent all our time trying to convince people or persons, no, just speak to the system competently. Just speak to the system and let the system tell them. Let the system tell them that fiat is no good. Let the system do that. We don't have to do it.
Well, it did it. It did it right now. Yeah, it did it right now.
Yeah, we've been doing that. We've been saying that, but the ancestor said, just use your pen. And then you won't even have to yell. You can just plant seeds, plant seeds, plant seeds. They'll invite you back. They'll invite you back. Plant seeds.
Yes.
Plant the seed and then keep moving. Plant the seed and then enjoy yourself. And that's really what that was about, is plant the seed, but the ancestors willed these gatherings that we've been invited to recently and lately in the last few months. The ancestors are showing us that now is the time to have a good time, but plant the seed.
At the same time.
Have a great time, plant those seeds, yes. Water what you planted the last time. And then have fun and enjoy. That's where we are now. It's all good.
Yes.
And it has been a relief for me. It's been a relief.
One more thing, Empress.
Could
you please remind me about the fasting? What is it, the 40-day, 30-day fasting?
Yes, from the 21st of December to the 31st of January, every year we do a fast where we choose what type of fast we will to do, okay? Last year and the year before that, we did fast where we fasted from land animals. So we didn't eat anything that walks on the land, chicken, steak, bacon. We stayed away from all of that for 40 days from December 21st to January 31st.
Okay.
We did that the last few years. This year, what do we will to manifest? Because that's really what this is about. The ancestors have been stating that this fast, this time, in as much as those who can do it, is not to spend any fiat on anything for 40 days. Now, we have time between now and the 21st. Now, but it's going to be,
That one is rough, yeah.
But listen to this. We can do that fast. We can fast from fiat for 40 days. However, in order to successfully do that fast, we have to then go out and barter with other people and use dollarium, gold, and silver, or a skill set that we have to get the things that we will to get. So, like for us, if I will to have something from a grocery store, I'm going to have to agree to either do something for those who go there, or go catch fish, or only eat the things that I pull from the land, or something. I'm going to have to be creative and find ways to get whatever it is. Now, for some people, that's going to mean stocking up on whatever they will to have right now. Okay, whatever, however you choose to do it. Right. For other people, it's going to be those who would go and use the fiat or whatever they're going to be using. You just won't use it. You just won't touch it. But what you'll do is offer them something, some service or some gift or something. For us, we can do, sea salt or whatever if we choose to do that. But see, with us, the use of fiat is so infrequent that we're already knowing how to either obtain the things by bartering with others, by using our skill set, by doing other things, by not just refraining or restraining or staying away from certain things, whatever we have to do. And you know what? We've not gone without anything since we started doing that years ago. We've not gone without anything. It did require some fasting every now and then, but but we do that anyway. And that was by our own will. That wasn't by anything other than our will. I tell you that it's we've had an abundance of everything, since we started doing these types of things and doing these demonstrations, and creating our own economic, life, really. So for the 40 days, those who will to stay away from land animals for the 40 days, then we can agree to do that. Those who will to stay away from the use of fiat for 40 days, then do that. See, you could
do either one or the other.
You can do either one or the other. You can do both, or you can choose a third thing. Or a fourth thing.
Okay.
Either way it goes, from the 21st of December to the 31st of January,
okay,
we're increasing our energy to do things, our way of doing things. You will have an abundance of whatever it is. I can tell you that. You will have an abundance.
Yes, Empress. Give thanks. Not understand. Gratitude. Everything towards you that is good. I wish it for you.
We've not missed a beat. The ancestors have not missed a beat with us and that's increasing. It's increasing. Our ability to do more is increasing. Yes. With every demonstration, with every baby. Well, I can't call it a baby step anymore because it's not that. It never was a baby step. We're mature heirs. Yeah. It'll be a seemingly small step, but because of the law of quantum entanglement, we'll do something that seems small, like maybe create some natural resources and process and package the natural resources. What we have done, and I'll just give you an example of that. What we have done by creating a way for natural resources to move around is we've opened a $1 trillion bank account. Because the same water, how old do you think the Pacific Ocean is? Anyone? Just take a guess.
That is unlimited as far as that.
How old do you think that the Pacific Ocean is? Anyone? Just take a guess.
I can guess.
Guess, Empress.
Innumerable. Because as many drops of the waters in the ocean, that's how old it is. Yes. And so they're innumerable, so it's innumerable.
So having stated that, anything that we pull from it and create as a natural resource, not a lab created anything, a natural resource, we could listen, the exchange methodology can be whatever we will for it to be. It's infinite. The exchange methodology.
That's right. That's what I was saying.
So
unlimited.
We've opened the windows of heaven for our own selves. All of us, we have done that already. There's we can put whatever price that we will, and guess what? Everybody will be able to pay because we're on our own system, and we're all extremely wealthy on our own system. There's no one who is of the bloodline and birthright or subject within the system who cannot afford this.
Right. Especially to make it, the process is not hard, according to how I heard you explain it.
Mm-mm.
And with that, have you ever heard about the coast salt? I'm not sure if it's spelled C-O-A-S-T or coast as in rough. I think Empress Sasha might be familiar with it because I've only heard of that here in Jamaica. I've never seen it in America.
Well, you said coarse salt?
Coast. They pronounce it coast salt. But the only place you could get that is like in the market. But the grains, they're not as fine as this salt here. They're like thick grains. Like when I say thick, they look like popcorn, but not as big as popcorns. We can produce here. We can produce the popcorn sized here. We call it coarse, C-O-A-R-S-E, like our hair, coarse. Oh, right, that's what I was saying. Yeah. You're familiar with that particular salt. Is it the same? Is it the same salt?
The beauty of it is just every place has a different level of minerals in their salt, so it's going to be different everywhere. Jamaica has salt that we don't have here. Utah has salt that the Pacific Ocean doesn't have.
Right. That's why I was asking you if you're familiar with it, if it's the same salt, the cold salt, and this one that you produce here.
Well, Islam, if I may, the coarse salt, typically speaking, when I've heard of it here, is used for spiritual.
Right.
It's used spiritually. If you are having issues or there are certain things, but the salt is actually a very powerful spiritual tool, as it were. Yes, and so usually that's also, and you right, for bath, healing, cleansing, clearing. So it's just salt that's in a and you know what? It's in a different form. They'd almost look like hailstones. Yeah. But usually, and it's something that you can put at your doors or your gate if the frequencies are off. It's to remove, cleanse again. It's the same purification cleansing, but that's usually that's my knowledge of it.
Yes. Exactly. That's what it's used for, spiritual baths.
So here they call it rock salt.
Okay. All right.
Rock salt.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justice Harold. I got that from you. It's rock salt, actually.
So basically, it's the same product but a different name.
Yeah, we used to eat that when we were little.
Okay.
We used to eat. Our parents used to give us rock salt, or either they would have rock salt candy. It tasted salty and sweet at the same time, but it was rock salt candy.
Yes, I think it's the same. Yes, I think it's the same thing.
And here's the thing:
very powerful.
This salt that we produce, any one of us can produce this at the territory, and it's going to be a different level of certain elements and minerals because on different parts of the land, the flow of the water is different. It's going to be picking up that which is key to that territory.
Right.
Some territories have had more volcanoes and volcanic action or reaction than others. Others have had more erosion. Others have had more. Other territories have had more events happen where there's more iron in the salt. There's more or less iron and more something else in the salt, some other minerals or elements.
Right. And you know where I am, it's the beaches of it's black sand. So you have different minerals.
Yes.
Even though I've made the salt and it looks
some of that. I would love to have some of that. I would love to have some of that.
The sand or the salt?
Both.
Well, I can package some up and mail it out.
Okay, Empress, we would love that, and take your time doing it because we'll probably be there before it. Yeah, we'll probably be there before.
Well, seriously, that would be lovely. But I've made the salt. I've followed your processes, and I actually do make it from time to time, and it comes out white, just like this. You know, when I depending on how on the day or whatever, but mostly it comes out looking just like snow.
Yeah,
yeah.
And mine, it depends on when I pull from the ocean. If I pull from the ocean around like after the full moon, right after the full moon, the water is churning up. So it will churn up more of what's at the bottom. So that will be a different mineral levels than if the water is calm in the sea salt, salt.
That makes sense. I'm going to collect some tomorrow in this and be specific about. I'm going to do that, but that makes absolute sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And then sometimes for my own consumption, because not consumption, but my own healing, to stay healthy, because I'm very healthy and I prefer to stay that way. Sometimes I will even leave the seaweed and whatever else. Sometimes there's pieces of driftwood and things, little small pieces of driftwood. I'll leave that in the water while I'm boiling it down to the salt, and then just grind that in because it's healing as well. It's ancient. Those are ancient materials that have been in the water the whole time.
Well, you know that, for instance, sea moss, even the sargassum, sea moss is the most close to the human makeup. It's the closest in the minerals and everything else to the actual human body.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, if you think of, we come from the water.
Yes.
So that is full of everything, which we know that. I mean, up, down, and all around. That makes us up.
Yes. And that's one of the main points that we use when we speak of our sea salt is everything in it is already in you. This just scrubs all the things that are not natural out.
It cleans up the contaminants from
Yes.
physical.
And it's almost instant. It's almost instant, depending on. It's almost instant. Like
well, and you know. Carry on. Sorry.
It causes your body to expel anything that's not natural. It's an expulsion. This is an expulsion instrument.
Right. It's like it's a purge is instant. And if you think about what, as you stated earlier, if someone is near dying, on dying, what is the first thing they will do, as you stated earlier, is give the saline drip.
Yes.
I mean, now, you know, these things aren't necessarily, there's very little real salt in these things.
Mm-hmm.
But that was, and that is, that's how powerful and potent salt is.
Well, what the salt does is it, and we read it at the beginning of the Congress, it activates electricity. And whenever they will to know if someone is dead or alive, they check to see if electricity is running in their brain. And if there's no electrical impulses moving registering in the brain, then they say that they're brain dead.
And once that's done.
And so what this does is activate electrolytes. That's what they were calling it, electrolytes. With Gatorade, you know, was a salty tasting something that, you know, that they were using back in the previous era. To activate electrolytes to get the electricity going in your body, because electricity
is put it on their nostrils and they breathe it, and the person will wake up. When you put it on their nostrils, their nose.
Yeah,
that's smelling. Those are smelling salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right here. We have it in our hands.
And what is the dosage with this particular salt here for like cleansing? When you want to cleanse brain fog and the electrolyte within your body, what is the dosage with this one?
1 tablespoon of it, or teaspoon rather. Now it depends. It depends. Again, 1 teaspoon in the morning with water. Take it with a bunch of water, like about
a pint.
No, about 16 ounces of water.
About 16 ounces. Okay.
However much water you can get into your system. Let me just say this. Remember the Alka-Seltzer commercial?
Oh, a lot of people don't know about that.
Drop the Alka-Seltzer into about a quarter or to a half a cup of water.
Yes.
You can put the teaspoon into that and drink it, and it will do the job. It will get the electricity going through your system so quickly. And you will begin to expel anything in you that's not natural, whether it be in your digestive system, in your brain, in your bloodstream, in your organs. You will begin to expel it immediately.
And that is on a daily basis?
That's on a daily basis.
2 times a day?
It's amazing. You can do it 2 times a day to start with.
Okay.
And then after that, once your body reaches a certain level, you won't have to even do it 2 times a day. You can do it once a day or once every other day. But nonetheless, keep going with it, because it's so important. Oh my word! If you think that you're catching a cold or something, you can take that twice a day, and it will expel that whatever it is out of you so quickly. Anything that's not natural, it will expel it. And either you'll go to the bathroom, or you'll be blowing your nose or something, or coughing things up or something. It causes things to expel.
Yeah. Okay. What about people
think
that
about
have an issue with high blood pressure?
It will cause their blood pressure to go back down to normal, because the cells are cleansed from whatever the substance is causing the blood pressure to rise.
Okay.
It
Wonderful.
does the opposite. It cleans the cells instead of dirtying and attacking them.
Wonderful.
And then everything that's in it, we have it in our bodies. Just one moment. Hold on one moment, Empress. I have my thing plugged in. I'm actually making more sea salt. Can you all see this on the screen? The sea salt here.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. And it looks like snow or something like that. I'm just making sure that it does what it's supposed to do. But with
that amount of salt, with that amount you have right there, how much water would you get that from?
That amount right there would last you about a week and a half or 2 weeks if you're taking it twice a day.
No, the seawater that you have extracted it from. How much gallons of water did that came from?
Probably 5 gallons, about 5 gallons, 5 to 7 gallons.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, and it takes about between 6 and 10 hours to process.
Oh, you just boil it
all day.
Okay, on a low, medium fire.
High all day.
Oh.
Yep.
And so when you boil it, you just leave the cover open so it will
evaporate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it turns out so beautifully, and it's stronger than table salt, than the stuff you buy at the store. It's stronger than that.
Because I imagine so. It's raw.
Yeah.
Raw.
Anything natural is going to be stronger than anything that is not natural.
Yeah, I imagine so.
So, and anyone can do this. So there's no reason for us to not have our cells clean. If you were one of those who maybe were asleep at that time or did not know, and you took a vaccine, quote unquote, then you will to get some sea salt and just start cleaning your cells.
If you add that salt, like a teaspoon of that salt with a teaspoon of baking soda and the same mineral water, if you break that down, like about a quart distilled water, and you mix those together and you break it down in 4 parts, and you drink one of those 4 parts every 2 hours, that would clear your brain, your blood, everything.
Yeah. If you take one teaspoon and again put it in a quarter to a half a cup of water, it'll clear up brain fog in about 30 minutes.
Yes, true.
And see, that is why because we have these tools, that's why we don't deprive ourselves of whatever we will to eat. We like pizza, we like stuff like that. It can be a vegetable pizza with pineapples on it, one of my favorites. We eat those kinds of things, but we clear our system out and clean it out and keep it clean, and we work out. We exercise because that helps the filtration process also. And so we don't deny ourselves of much of anything. And then when it's time to fast, we go ahead and fast. So whatever you choose to fast from in this December 21st to January 31st fast, write it down or speak it into the atmosphere of what it is you will to manifest and accomplish by this fast. Some people will to, and this is an important fast right here. Some people for 40 days, if you will fast from any statements of negativity about your life.
That is a powerful one. That will put an end to it.
It'll be a wrap on all negativity.
I am in total agreement with you. I know how that works, and that is powerful. I know how that works.
Because people say things so flippantly. They say things just on the fly, just off the cuff, any old thing.
Casting spells.
either about themselves or about other people.
Casting spells and don't even realize it.
So speak for the next 40 days, speak nothing but affirmations of wealth, prosperity, life, truth, peace, freedom, justice, movement, purpose, and all of that. And not one time say something negative about you or anyone else. No matter.
All that is going to manifest.
That's powerful.
It will manifest. I know that for a fact.
Yes. Yes. And then if you pair that with staying away from land animals for 40 days, or pair that with a water-only fast for 40 days, because some choose to do that as well. Listen, whatever your choice is for that fast, okay? We've chosen to, of course, the positivity and things like that are a way of life for us. That is the way we live. That is one of the precepts for us to demonstrate and state and perfect. And then we're fasting from feelings of lack. That's what our fast is. This 40 days is the abundance and knowing what to do with the abundance as it continues to manifest, because it's manifesting.
And it's also important when you set to write it down.
Yes.
Yes,
yes.
That simple as that statement sound, that was very important, because the mind always thinks to forget because of distractions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be written down. Yeah.
Yeah. Write the vision, make it plain,
yes,
so you can look at it.
Empress, I thank you again. Gratitude for all the knowledge and the wisdom.
Islam nobility.
It is an honor.
It is an absolute honor.
Likewise, my Empress.
Islam, indeed. So now that, again, we're moving forward really quickly as we adjourn, the actors are making changes to the quote-unquote Uniform Commercial Code. In other words, we get to make it state whatever we will for it to state. And again, it's talking about the issuer's jurisdiction. Look here quickly, Morris. Here at number 4.
Oh, you're not sharing your screen, Islam.
Oh, my, just one moment. Oh, thank you, Empress. Okay, so
now it's business. Thank you.
So there is an enactment to repeal certain provisions of the, and again they say Uniform Commercial Code. All that is them getting in alignment with what we've already stated and done, because we've restated the Universal Commercial Codes, and they state what we indeed intend for them to state. And it says here at number 4, the local law of the issuer's jurisdiction, as specified in subsection D, governs, and then it starts talking about what it governs and blah, 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 blah. The local law of the issuer's jurisdiction. So there is, it has everything to do with who's issuing those codes, Universal Commercial Codes, okay? And again, this is no change from what we've been doing. We've been issuing the codes and governing and so on and so forth, okay? So now that we have stated the things that we've stated here at Congress today, we'll go ahead and adjourn. And again, we have not forgotten that we were going to be restating things. This is the restatement of the mercantilism process. So we are sticking to our word. We're demonstrating our word. This is how to restate commodities. So we've shown how to restate the commodities, the natural resources. So we're showing how to do what we do. And this is called a signature product. A signature product. That means that it has a valid signature, a natural signature for the natural resource. Okay. And then there's serial numbers and sort of, authentications that we do for to state that the natural resources is what it should be. Are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this amazing Congress? Islam. With that being stated, we will adjourn until next Sunday. Let me just take a look here really quickly. Next Saturday is the winter solstice. Please, please, please celebrate yourself. Celebrate you. If that just means an extra cup of hot chocolate in the morning, at daylight rather, or whatever that means to you, celebrate you. You've done so much work. Celebrate you for winter solstice. What that means is that the sun is going to shine for longer and brighter every day. That means you're doing that.
We're just talking about
celebrate you.
So Texas was in the center.
Islam nobility?
No, it is. So.
Islam?
I was talking about. I was speaking out there.
Oh, Islam. So, with that being stated, do you all will to meet next Sunday, or shall we adjourn until January?
Yes. Meet next Sunday.
You will to meet next Sunday? Okay.
Next Sunday, I affirm.
Islam.
I affirm.
Y'all don't want to break. I don't even like that word break because I don't like the word break. It would be adjournment.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Islam Empress, we can hear you.
Oh, perfect. I thought maybe something weird was going on with my phone because it wasn't allowing me to you all to hear me. And perfect. So I agree. I affirm. Yes, okay. If we could meet next Sunday, that would be fabulous, actually.
Islam, the changes are happening so quickly. I definitely overstand and understand.
You could send me your Bitcoin address. I'll send you some Bitcoin.
LOL.
That's good. How would you even send it? Like, you can't even send that stuff in the mail.
Send it Bitcoin address. Give me a Bitcoin wallet. I'll send it to your wallet.
No, I want it to come through the post office.
No, I want to buy the salt. Chew the Bitcoin. Send me your Bitcoin address.
I would like to get the salt as well.
You all can have the salt. That's a piece of cake. You know how to get the salt.
I just love to chubby you, Empress. You're adorable lady.
Thank you, nobility.
Yeah.
I love what you stated. I'm going to use that very often. The next time somebody says something about Bitcoin, I'm going to say, can you send that through the post office and keep a tracking number?
And make sure you use the Dropbox.
Yeah, all of that. So, we will adjourn and we will meet again next Sunday, this coming Sunday at 6 p.m. at our usual time. And for those who will to have sea salt, I have these two certified. They're already certified for the for this date, for the 15th. So these two are the only two that I have left for this full moon. So if you will to have these, it's $99 an ounce, which is in dollarium. So that's going to be 300 in dollarium for this, or 300 in gold or silver, whichever you prefer. And here's the thing, we prefer dollarium even over gold and silver, to be honest with you. We prefer dollarium because it's your own energy, and you know, we prefer that. But if you will to send gold or silver, you can for these 300. And the dollarium, as long as it has your sovereign autograph on it, either in blue or red, we will accept it. Islam. With that being stated, peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Done.
Peace and energy.
Peace and grand. Love you all.
Islam.
Islam. Smiling. Peace and love.
Melinda is Zola, Empress.
Islam.
I love it.
Oh, peace and love.
Peace and love. Thank you.
Islam. Grand rising.
Grand rising.
Islam. Grand rising. Islam.